It's Wednesday, September 17th.
It's a $43 billion industry employing 200,000 Canadians.
Says he'd like Canada to find the right balance in dealing with trade disputes.
This is nothing like business as usual. There's nothing business as usual in the world economy.
We now have a date for when the federal budget will be tabled, and it's about a month later than expected. U.S. President Donald Trump can expect pomp, pageantry, and protests on the first full day of his UK state visit today. Stay with us, Saskatchewan. Your morning starts right now. Welcome to Your Morning Saskatchewan. I'm Daryl Rummold.
I'm Kayleen Sawatsky. Thanks for waking up with us on this beautiful Wednesday morning.
I got that little bit of that crisp fall air stuck in my throat.
Well, I was going to say I had a little cold. Am I passing it to you?
I hope not, Kayleen. We'll have your full forecast in just a minute. First, we'll get to your news for this part of the hour. Fresh off his trip to Beijing, Saskatchewan's Premier met with the Prime Minister Tuesday to talk about challenges of Chinese tariffs on canola. Alison Bamford on what it means for farmers.
With his feet back on Canadian soil, Premier Scott Moe briefed the Prime Minister on his trade mission to China.
This is another step in finding our way through what is a pretty difficult time for a significant Canadian industry.
Earlier this month, Moe met with Chinese government agencies responsible for imposing steep tariffs on Canadian canola products.
I want to thank you for leading a very important delegation to China.
The leaders say their meeting was positive, discussing opportunities to restore market access in China and the United States. But with no concrete plan, canola farmers still feel left in the dark.
There's just no real answers and again, no real indication from our federal government as to what sort of support as producers we could be expecting in the future.
The tariffs are driving down canola prices at a time when farmers are harvesting their crops. With bills to pay, producers could be forced to sell their commodities at a price much lower than the cost of production.
It's the time to curb spending and sit back and wait.
A resolution isn't going to happen overnight, but policy experts say trade missions like Moe's are fundamental in developing long-term trading partnerships.
This is how you do international business these days.
The canola duties are widely viewed as retaliation for Canada's tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles. But politicians and policy experts suggest removing that tax could have implications on other Canadian trading partners, including the United States. Alison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
We now have a date for when the federal budget will be tabled, and it is later than expected.
We're going to have to make tough choices. We're going to be asking from Canadians to work together with us because they understand this is a transformational moment. This is nothing like business as usual. There's nothing business as usual in the world economy.
The government had initially signaled that it would be introduced in October, but the Liberals have now set the date for November 4th. This will be Mark Carney's first federal budget as Prime Minister. He has said the deficit will be larger than last year because of new spending, tax commitments for cuts and tariffs.
Mark Carney needs to keep his promise and reverse the massive spending increases that he has brought in that have caused the deficit to double without even introducing the budget.
The Liberals will need the support of at least one other party in the minority parliament to pass the budget. Chrystia Freeland has stepped down as Transport and International Trade Minister to take on the job as Special Envoy to Ukraine.
The work that Chrystia will lead on Ukraine will be deeply impactful, not just for the war, but for Canada's national security.
A source tells CTV News Freeland will work with Ukrainian leaders to rebuild the country's economy. The last time Freeland resigned from cabinet, it marked a split from former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. This time she leaves on much better terms, saying she made the decision with, quote, tremendous gratitude and a little sadness. Freeland's cabinet roles are now being split between Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc and House Leader Stephen McKinnon. The family of a woman who shot and killed while riding in a car outside of Weyburn is urging those responsible to come forward.
there's a family that's suffering, that suffered a terrible loss. And that person needs to come forward to help give them closure and to understand how and why this happened.
Tanya Myers was just 44 years old. She died after being hit by a bullet on September 12th. She was a passenger inside an SUV just outside of Weyburn on Highway 39. Her family is calling for whoever is responsible to come forward immediately. Investigators say they're working to identify several vehicles that were traveling through the area at the time of the shooting. 21-year-old man from Arcola has been charged with child pornography offenses. On September 11th, the Saskatchewan Internet Child Exploitation Unit executed a search warrant at a home in Arcola. Several electronic devices were seized. 21-year-old Logan Rem is charged with possession, accessing, and making child pornography available. Next court date is October 22nd in Carlisle Provincial Court. The Crown is calling for a judge's decision to stay impaired driving charges in Saskatoon and a death over the weekend. Jeremy Dodge following this story for us. Very latest if you could.
Yeah, Daryl, this is from a girl's death, and this could send the case back to trial. And now Taylor Kennedy, charged with impaired driving offenses in connection with the death of Bailey Maurice. This was back in September of 2021. Kennedy's case was stayed in December, a judge ruling Kennedy was not tried in a reasonable period of time. The Crown is appealing that decision, arguing case complexity and court backlogs were factors in the delay. Kennedy's lawyer says they remain confident the Court of Appeal will uphold the judge's initial decision. City officials and community members gathered at Saskatoon City Hall this week to exchange plans and concerns regarding a new shelter. A 60-bed enhanced emergency shelter will be located on 31st Street East in Saskatoon's central industrial area. Neighborhood residents were invited to ask questions and give input on the facility. Among the comments and concerns were the facility's proximity to schools, potential for drug use, and concern that 60 beds will not be enough space.
So we want people to understand that there is a lot of thought going into this and that there is a lot of planning ahead of time to make sure that this can work as well as possible in our community. And we want to understand, are we missing anything? Is there anything more we can do?
Now, while there is no precise timeline for the completion of the facility, Anderson says the hope is to have it operational before the closure of Saskatoon's temporary shelter next September. All right, Daryl, back to you with news from Regina.
Thank you so much. Members of the Regina Peace Council gathered outside the federal building in downtown Regina Tuesday morning. The small group called for justice and dignity for all and to honor the sacrifices of Palestinian people. The peace group is appealing for an end to what they call a genocide by Israel in the current war in Gaza. The war began after Hamas and its supporters attacked Israel almost 2 years ago and killed more than 1,200 people. A Montreal mother who abandoned her child on the side of the road will stay under psychiatric care in hospital, but she could eventually be allowed outings.
I think it's fair to give hope to an accused, even if she done something really impossible.
In the ruling, the judge says the woman still poses a risk to herself and the public, even though her mental health is getting better. The mother was found not criminally responsible for leaving her 3-year-old daughter on a highway in Ontario. The young girl was later found safe 3 days later. As for whether the mother will be able to see her daughter again, that will be up to Quebec's Youth Protection Service. We now have more on that dramatic plane crash in Toronto's East End, including a new audio from the pilot.
City Center. I think I might have an engine failure.
X-ray Golf Charlie, can you make it to the airport?
Negative.
Okay, can you find anywhere to land?
I'm landing at a soccer field. There are people though.
Okay, can you maybe find a gap with no people?
The small plane crashed near the soccer field near Monarch Park Collegiate, and no one was injured. Flight experts say given the situation, the pilot did everything right, noting that when an engine fails, the plane is basically in glide mode. The TSB is now investigating. The puck drops on the Western Hockey League season on Friday. The Regina Pats in the midst of a rebuild, but there is plenty of reason for optimism around the rink these days, including the addition of top picks Maddox Schultz and Liam Pugh. Yesterday, they acquired forward Dace Durkach from the Prince Albert Raiders for a third-round pick. He is, of course, the son of Dale Durkach, the general manager, and played with Schultz on the Pad Canadians. The team's looking to get back in the playoffs this year.
I think the moves were calculated to, start this rebuild last year in season, which is hard to do. But I credit all the guys that were here last year, whether they're back or have gone, and it wasn't an easy year. But saying that, the guys that are back, they lived it last year. They don't want to see that again. And, a year older as a group is a big thing in this league. It's cyclical.
Ryan Smith, one of the good guys in hockey. The Pats start on the road in Swift Current on Friday. Sure doesn't feel like hockey weather, does it, Kaylee? Still walking into the rink in flip-flops.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still wearing my flip-flops out to the grocery store every day. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I sure am. What's going on in the weather today?
Well, we're still seeing some of those warm, above the seasonal average temperatures. Just seeing that sun coming up later and later in the morning. Again, autumn is so close. Within a week here, we have to hold on to these summer temperatures while we have the chance. 11 degrees in Regina right now. The sun should be up by about 6:37 a.m. is what we're seeing right now. Some clouds up in the sky, some very calm winds. In Saskatoon, the sun should be up by about 6:44, sitting at 7 degrees right now, and some northeast winds coming in at 4 kilometers per hour. A little bit of fog to start the day in Saskatoon as well. Now, our future cast showing that we do have some more precipitation on the way today. It's not a large system by any means, and it's not going to be bringing a whole lot in terms of the rain, but Regina is included in those areas that could be seeing some of that rain. This is at about 2:45 p.m. As you can see right over top of Regina, we do have just a little bit of those yellow colors sprinkled in there. If you look really close, that does indicate that we have the chance of getting a mild thunderstorm along with that precipitation today. Now, as we head into those overnight hours, we still do see just a little bit of rain on the screen just south of Regina right now. And then right around Estevan. Looking forward to tomorrow, we see it really sticking around that southeast corner. Estevan still likely to be getting some of that rain early tomorrow morning. We also do have some smoke in the province, not enough in order to constitute a full air quality statement. But as you can see, it's in areas just east of Saskatoon. This is right around 7 a.m. this morning, what we're projecting. But things are improving as we make our way into those afternoon hours. About 3 o'clock is when we see that smoke really reduce in size there. Now, as we continue on to look at those current temperatures, it's a pretty nice start to the day. Spiritwood a little bit cooler this morning, though, 8 degrees warmer up through La Ronge, already at 14 degrees. Hudson Bay at 12 degrees to start the day. Swift Current at that 8-degree mark. Yorkton at 11 degrees, and Estevan also starting the day at 11 degrees. Once again, we are going to be seeing some rain today. Estevan with that up to 21 degrees. Weyburn sharing that temperature of 21 degrees. Yorkton up to 18 degrees. And the rain has a low chance, but still a chance of continuing on into our Thursday and Friday right now. A little bit more sunshine expected on Friday, though, with that temperatures dropping to about 18 degrees for Thursday and Friday, and then conditions improving and getting warmer for the weekend. 22 degrees will be the high in Saskatoon today. No rain expected there. 21 tomorrow, 22 on Friday, and then 24 degrees on Saturday, 27 for Sunday. So a beautiful weekend ahead.
Newborn babies will soon have an extra layer of defense of life-threatening virus, even before going home from the hospital. RSV, one of the most common reasons babies are hospitalized during the winter months, often causing bronchitis or pneumonia. Well, this new initiative in the province ensures that all parents can protect their newborns from serious lung infections caused by RSV free of charge and with parental consent. The head of pediatrics for the province, Dr. Terry Clausen, says it is an important step towards seeing fewer babies in hospital.
To have to come into hospital, be hospitalized for several days. Some of them have to go to the intensive care unit, have to be put on a ventilator. So it's had a huge impact, and it really spikes that certain time a year. So the fact that we now finally have an intervention that can make a difference is very exciting and very timely.
And kids.
Vaccine will be offered at 17 locations where babies are born in Saskatchewan starting October 1st and through March.
Health Report, brought to you in part by Saskatchewan Blue Cross, protecting your health since 1946.
Well, people living in Cape Cod got quite the surprise when they saw this out and about on Sunday.
Where would an ostrich come from, Pam?
I don't think it's an ostrich. I think it's an emu.
It is, in fact, an emu. It escaped from a nearby farm. His name is Walter.
Of course.
And he ventured through 2 towns before his owners tracked him down. They believe he was startled by something so much that he hopped over 2 fences, each 1.5 meters tall, and took off. It's impressive they were able to catch him, since Walter can run nearly 50 kilometers an hour.
Is it possible he caught a glimpse of himself in a mirror?
I just like that his name is Walter. And they're like, oh, man, Walter escaped.
That's terrifying.
Walter the enigmatic emu. There you go. A question of the day. It's International Day for something every day.
It is. Well, today's International Country Music Day, which, of course, we have to talk about here in Saskatchewan. So we're asking you, what is your favorite country song? What's the best one in your opinion, Jeremy?
Well, I just want to say I asked Mike Siona, and he answered without hesitation, Austin by Blake Shelton. And I had trouble disagreeing with him, but I'm going to say either Everywhere by Tim McGraw or Troubadour by George Strait. Those are my... off the top of my head. There's so many.
I think Austin's a really good answer. That's not the answer that I had picked, but that's a really, really good one. I was going to say Goodbye Earl. That's my favorite.
Look at Jared. Okay, all right. You're going. Jeremy Bryan has a list of them ready to go. We want to hear from you, though. Text your name and your answer to 10400. Standard message rates may apply, or you can scan that QR code that is on your screen right now. We'll take a live look outside as we head to break. We're back with more news and weather coming up in just a moment.
Time to head out on the go in Saskatoon. And Mike Siona learning all about the perfect pairs for those fall wines.
Well, fall is upon us, and where better to kick it off than at Willow Park Wines and Spirits with the one and only Tracy Gracious. You guys have all sorts of festive events, festivals and the like, including a whiskey festival?
Yes, the fall is the time when we've started our program. So starting this week, we've got festivals. Festivals are our fan favorite, where we open a selection of, for example, Whiskies Festival. We also have a Spanish festival. We've got a sparkling festival coming up in December. We also have, for the locals and for our culture, Saskatchewan culture, a pierogi and wine pairing class.
Oh, very cool. I never thought about the concept of taking pierogies and pairing them with wine, but it makes sense, right? I mean, it gives you the idea of the palates, and that education piece is so critical to what you guys do here in the tasting room, right?
Exactly, because when we empower our customers with knowledge, it's so much easier for them to pick out the bottles that they want to purchase for themselves.
Perfect. Now, speaking of bottles they may want to purchase, a prestigious event as well. What, 90-point? What is that?
Ooh, we're having a 90-point plus wine festival. So every wine that we are opening on that evening is going to be rated by, say, James Suckling or Mr. Halliday. Those will all be 90-point plus.
Okay, and 90 points, it's out of 100, that scale, right? So that is top-tier stuff. Pick up one of these. The Fall Events Guide gives you everything that you need to know in the Saskatoon locations, the Regina location. WillowParkWines.com, by the way, is the website.
Let's take a look at this school day forecast brought to you by CAA Saskatchewan. If you're heading out to get on the bus, a bit cooler to start the day in Saskatoon, only sitting at 7 degrees right now. Grab a light jacket on your way out the door. 12 degrees for Regina currently. By lunchtime, though, we do have a chance of rain in Regina, sitting at 19 degrees. Mainly sunny skies expected all afternoon long in Saskatoon, also at 19 degrees by that lunchtime hour. And by final bell, that chance of rain continues on for Regina, sitting at that daytime high of 20 degrees. Over in Saskatoon, though, not reaching the daytime high of 22 degrees until about 5 o'clock. So by final bell, sitting just below that at 21 degrees and mainly sunny. All right, as we go to break, here's a look at those gas prices in Regina. The most common cost to fill up is $139.9. You can find regular fuel for as low as $116.9. And in Saskatoon, the most common cost to fill up, $135.9 this morning, but you might find the lowest gas at $127.9. Taking a look at those farm markets, the street price of canola is $579.22 per ton, and the futures price is $635.30 per ton. Amber Durham wheat is at $278.60 per ton, and Red Spring wheat at $234.02 per ton this morning. And the Canadian dollar begins the day trading at 72.74 cents U.S. Coming up, the Bank of Canada set to release its interest rate decision, what we know so far, and how it could impact you. Stay with us.
Saskatchewan, it is 6:30. Here are your headlines. The Bank of Canada widely expected to lower its key lending rate to 2.5% this morning.
The economy has been slowing down in Canada, primarily owing to the trade war with the U.S. and with the fact that inflation seems to have stabilized.
The latest data from Statistics Canada shows that inflation did edge up slightly in August, but the central bank is still expected to cut its benchmark interest rate by 1/4 percentage point as the economy has weakened in recent months as the impact of the tariffs become more apparent. First Nations leaders are voicing their frustration after financial audit findings were leaked online last week. Indigenous Services Canada announced a forensic audit into the Federation of Sovereign Indigenous Nations last year. A leaked photo of the initial findings shows questionable, ineligible, and unsupported transactions dating back to April 1st of 2019. The audit performed by KPMG flagged $34 million of expenses, the largest of which was $23 million of COVID relief funding.
We want to see accountability, we want to see transparency, and yet it falls on deaf ears. And we ask ourselves, has there ever been a financial scandal like this ever in Canada's history or Indigenous governance history?
Indigenous Services Canada says a summary of the audit findings will be posted to its website and available to the public by the end of the month. Saskatchewan's rental rate is increasing even as prices lower at the national level, according to a new report from rentals.ca. The report said Saskatchewan rental rates went up 4% compared to a 2.3% national decline. Reacting to the report, the NDP opposition in this province renewed its call for rent control, saying that post-secondary students and seniors are taking the hardest hit.
What I want to make sure people understand is rent control does not mean that landlords can never increase rent, because I think that's the first misconception about rent control. What it does mean is that rent can be stabilized so that tenants aren't suddenly being told their rent's going up 12% this year or 30% this year, and they're not able to afford that.
In a statement to CTV News, the government of Saskatchewan says one of the most effective ways to deal with rising rent is to increase the supply of rental housing through programs like the Saskatchewan Secondary Suite Incentive. Adding rent control could cause housing shortages and disincentivize new builds. Following Air Canada's lead, WestJet flight attendants are now looking to get a new contract that includes compensation for unpaid work. The union has served notice to the airlines saying it intends to bargain for a new collective bargaining agreement for WestJet flight attendants before their current deal expires on December 31st. CUPE says it's seeking better treatment and compensation for what it says is unpaid work hours while planes are on the ground. U.S. President Donald Trump has arrived at Windsor Castle during his state visit to the UK. President Trump and First Lady Melania began a carriage procession through Windsor Estate. Before the procession, they were greeted by King Charles III and Queen Camilla, along with Prince and Princess of Wales. Later on, there will be a military flyby and state bouquet. Today's events are all about ceremony. Tomorrow will be about business. That's when the president will meet with UK Prime Minister. Supporters and mourners gathered at the Saskatchewan Legislative Building for a vigil for Charlie Kirk. Kirk was shot during an appearance at Utah Valley University last week. The activist and founder of the conservative youth group Turning Point USA. The vigil drew a good-sized crowd. Saskatoon City Council has approved the development of a major business district south of the new leisure centre. This is in Prince Albert, not Saskatoon. The 6-story hotel will be built on land currently owned by the liquor store, which is owned by the same applicant as the new hotel. While the site was initially supposed to include 119 parking spaces, the city approved a permit for 100.
You look at, well, what can we accommodate? What likely is going to happen with the flow of traffic and with the flow of parking? So it's a reasonably well-calculated decision that this is something we can accommodate.
City says the applicant is eager to move ahead with the project. A Saskatchewan farmer has restored vintage combines and used it alongside modern machinery for his harvest. It's a 1962 Massey Ferguson, which was purchased at auction for $1,500. Take a look at your screen. It required an engine replacement, but otherwise good working condition. The Radville area farmer says it's the type of combine that he used when he began farming.
It had been stored in a steel building for the last 45 years. And it was the motor was totally seized, so my son Ross and the hired man Lawrence and my other son Kyle and 2 grandsons Logan and Brandon, we changed the motor in it and got her going.
Melhurst says it takes all day to harvest 60 acres with the old combine. He says modern machinery can do the same job in 2 or 3 hours. Moosehead beer bottles could become a collector's item.
We're very proud of our past, but we're always focused on our future and focused on what we need to do next to keep earning the trust and the support of beer drinkers.
Now, Moosehead is planning to stop selling beer out of bottles by the end of the year. The brewery says most customers prefer to buy cans, saying only 7% of beer in Canada is sold in bottles, if you can believe it. Moving forward, Moosehead will focus on cans and kegs. The final bottles will roll out in December and stay on shelves until they run out. It's a really small number, 7% of all in Canada, really?
Yeah, it's a shocking number there.
Can we drink it on a patio today?
Yes. Yeah, today would be a great day. Regina could see a little bit of rain, so there are some parts of the afternoon where you maybe want to move that inside. However, Saskatoon expecting a nice amount of sunshine today, just a few clouds up in the sky. Now, we do see the sun starting to make its way up. We do also have some cloud cover in Regina to start our day. 12 degrees is where we're currently sitting, and some very calm winds coming in at 7 kilometers per hour. Even calmer winds up in Saskatoon this morning, and we're not really going to be seeing those winds increasing all too much in the afternoon either. 7 degrees to start our day in Saskatoon, also seeing some of that fog this morning. The futurecast here showing that we are seeing that precipitation in some areas in the central zone there. As you can see, it's just a lot lighter on your screen. Most of the rain going to be down in that southeast corner today. Yorkton going to be seeing some of that rain. Regina also likely to be seeing just a little bit of that rain in the afternoon. And then down through Estevan as well as we continue on into those late afternoon and evening hours. As we continue on into tomorrow morning, you can also see it's really sticking around way far down in that southeast corner, right around Estevan there. So again, some of that rain on the way, but really sticking around that southeast corner. Now, your smoke forecast today showing that we are seeing an increased level of smoke right around areas east of Saskatoon and northeast of Regina this morning. However, as we continue on into those afternoon hours, we start to see that reduce significantly. And even with the amount of smoke we're seeing this morning in the province, we don't have enough to justify an air quality statement. The current temperatures this morning looks like things have stayed about the same from the last time we checked in on them. La Ronge still at that 14-degree mark. Spiritwood, we're waiting for that warm-up to start. Just hasn't happened yet. Still sitting at 8 degrees. Hudson Bay at 12 degrees. Weyburn waking up to that 8-degree temperature, and Swift Current at 8 degrees as well. This afternoon, going to be seeing some nice temperatures. Not quite as nice as what we saw in the past few days, but temperatures are going to be going up again as we look forward to the weekend. And you can see that on our 5-day forecast here. Some rain expected for some short periods for the next few days in Regina. But Saturday, 22 degrees with that sunshine, and Sunday, 26 degrees with just a few more clouds up in the sky. In Saskatoon, seeing nothing but sunshine in our 5-day forecast. 22 degrees today, 21 tomorrow, 22 on Friday, 24 on Saturday, and on Sunday up to 27 degrees. All right, your morning just got a whole lot richer. We're giving away a staggering $20,000, and it's time for today's code word. Imagine what you could do with an extra 20 grand. The possibilities are endless. Today's code word is happy. Head to the contest page on our website or scan that QR code on your screen. Enter the code word along with your information for your chance to win CTV Your Morning Saskatchewan's $20,000 giveaway. Make sure to watch us tomorrow for a brand new code word. Good luck.
Hello, everyone. Glenn Sheeler inside the TSN Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Tuesday. And for that, we're going over to Italy. Champions League action. Juventus taking on Dortmund. Kenan Yildiz lets one go from outside the penalty area, and it is beautiful. Perfectly put in the top corner. Nothing the keeper could do about that. This match was crazy. It finished 4-4 with Juventus scoring twice in added time to tie it, but it was Yildiz with your must-see moment from Tuesday. Tonight on TSN, WNBA playoffs doubleheader, starting with Game 2 between the Mercury and Liberty. Coverage begins 6 p.m. Central. That's all from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
Okay, this is your spoiler alert. If you don't want to know who won the Amazing Race Canada because you haven't watched it yet, we are about to reveal it. You're going to stream it on Crave later today. Take 5 minutes right now and avert your eyes and ears. Okay? Okay. See you in 5. Here we go.
5 provinces, 24 cities, 1 territory, and 19,000 kilometers from coast to coast to coast. Jesse and Jonathan, I am so proud to tell you that you have won. Are you ready for this?
Jesse and Jonathan, we've got you from Sherwood Park, Alberta, and Woodlawn, Ontario, currently residing in BC, the winners of the Amazing Race Canada, and here they are live. Gentlemen, good morning and congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Happy to be here.
So I don't think anyone who is seeing that for the first time and who knows what went on in this race will dispute you deserve to win this thing. You started off the race on one of the most dominant tears any team has ever gone on. First 6 legs of the race, we got first, second, and then fifth, third. But first, when it really mattered at the end. So what is the secret, Jesse? Why did you do so well?
Honestly, we were just having the most fun. I think to get this opportunity to run the race with Jonathan, every leg started with such a positive attitude, and we're just like, this is the most fun, silly experience. An incredibly hard experience, but truthfully, just when we had fun, we were so much more successful, and I feel like that's what we really saw in the final episode.
Now, since you were such a threat early on, you became a target, right? That's how this works. You turned. You were passed by other teams at every chance. Jonathan, how did you keep it together? Jesse mentioned the positive mindset. Your mental game was as strong as your physical game. How did you keep that together?
I think, honestly, like having each other as teammates, like when we were getting U-turned, when we were getting passed, and we were feeling pretty low, like we knew it wasn't like vindictive from the other teams. Like it makes sense that they were targeting us. We were doing well, so we're the targets. But, you know, it did still feel pretty low for us, and we just had to rely on each other to keep our right headspace in the game. I think when we lost that headspace, you saw what happened in the Thousand Islands. But after that, we like channeled each other's strength to rally back up and to get ourselves back up into a better position.
Now, looking back and watching it along with all of us, was there anything of note left out? Obviously, they can't show every moment. Jesse, anything the editing process omitted that you wanted to see?
Honestly, it captures the race really well. There's so much going on and there's so many moments. But I feel really proud of what we got to show and show off. So I feel like there was nothing missed. Maybe just a lot of me and Jonathan talking to each other, making the most stupid jokes. But honestly, people don't need to hear my jokes more. So that was probably a good thing.
I don't know, man. You guys were so entertaining, and we've got season 12 of The Amazing Race Canada. It's been announced. If they ever do an all-star version down the road, a returning champions type of season, Jonathan, would you be interested in giving it another go if that's a thing?
Oh my God, absolutely. Like, that would be the dream. That would be so exciting. I think my dream was always to get on The Amazing Race Canada, and now I have to have a new dream of hoping they do an All-Stars.
All right, Jesse and Jonathan, winners of season 11 of The Amazing Race Canada. You guys killed it. Much deserved. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. My dad will be so happy to see me on CTV Morning Saskatchewan. He's from there. So, yeah.
Well, congratulations again. We'll say hi to your dad, and have a good one down the road.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, we get to On the Go. It's Janelle Lepai. Where do we find you today having some fun?
Good morning. We are down at Echo Valley Provincial Park for some really exciting new stuff coming this fall. So I've got Shelley McLean with me. And this time around, Shelley, we're going to talk a little bit about the fall camping scene, because there's some really great things that people can still be a part of as the weather gets a little cooler.
Yes, definitely. Right now, we're excited to announce that across all provincial parks, there is a 15% discount off camping, and it is a great time to come out. The colors are just starting to change here at Echo Valley, as well as many other parks in the province. Mosquito populations are starting to get less than what they have been. It's absolutely gorgeous.
That's right. And so even as Ashley and I were coming down here, we noticed so many campers around. It's still very busy. So how can people kind of check in and see, what's available, what they can, come to for the fall and set up their campsites?
Absolutely. We have something for everyone. So currently we still have all of our different campsites available here at the park. So we've got full service sites that would be your water, sewer, and power. We've got non-electric sites for those campers that would like to join us. And for those folks that don't have any camping equipment, we still have our Camp Easy yurts, and they're pretty amazing. You can literally arrive with your sleeping bag as well as the things you need for cooking and enjoy a beautiful weekend out in your provincial park system.
Sounds gorgeous. And we actually get to go check out those yurts coming up here later on in the morning. Shelley, before we wrap things up here, what is the website that people can go to for more information?
So the best way to look and see what's available is sassparks.com.
Awesome. All right, Shelley. Well, thank you so much for being here with us this morning. We are going to be back shortly. We're going to get a little bit more into the fun this fall that you can be a part of.
All right, make some s'mores, bring them back for Kayleen. We're hungry here.
September 17th, and we have these milestones to share with you. We're starting off with a big happy birthday going out to Ever, turning 8 years old. This shout out coming with love from Mom, Dad, and Winter. Enjoy your special day. Also celebrating with his family today is Callum for his 2nd birthday. Happy birthday to you, with lots of love from Baba and OG. And happy birthday wishes also going out to Bill today. We hope this birthday is a great one for you. This message coming with love from Brian, Jess, Emma, and Ben. If you have anything that you would like to celebrate, send us your milestones to Your Morning Saskatchewan at ctv.ca. Make sure you add their name, tell us what you're celebrating, attach a photo, and send that in 1 day in advance.
Days without incident counter is still going, Chase. I know when you guys did your little change up over there, we had some incidents.
Yeah, I don't think I made it like more than 15 minutes for the first 100 days. It wasn't a smooth transition at all, but you keep going. I'll probably be the one to drop the ball and get that incident chart crossed right off. Yesterday, if you didn't figure it out from my clues of 5 guys that are related, Hunter Brothers was our announcement. They are coming through the province once again. We'll give you a chance to beat the box office all week long. Plus, the money went for the big money montage yesterday. Congratulations to Kayla, $1,800 to her. She figured out that 3rd song was Morgan Wallen's Sand in My Boots, so we are on to a new montage, the 4th one here, and $150 we'll play for coming up here at 7 o'clock.
All right, and you can check it out on the iHeartRadio app as well. Chase, thank you.
Thanks, Daryl. See you next hour.
You to feel safe here.
I do.
Theodore, Sydney Sweeney moves into a suspicious new home. The actress works for a wealthy family led by Amanda Seyfried in The Housemaid. The pair's picturesque lives unravel in the new thriller, which lands in theaters December 19th.
You know, it's nice having someone I can be totally open with, even if it means we remain perfect strangers.
Online love unites two rivals in Maintenance Required. This is your first look at the rom-com, which follows a pair of competitors in the automotive space. See sparks fly for the unlikely duo when the film premieres on Prime Video on October 8th.
It's not too late.
The movie The Lost Bus began with producer Jamie Lee Curtis. She says her devotion to making sure people remember the 2018 campfire goes beyond the film.
We are going to complete the memorial in the town of Paradise, which is called the Hope Plaza, which is going to memorialize the 85 lives that were lost, the tens of thousands of people whose lives were affected, and the first responders and all the everyday heroes.
The Lost Bus debuts in theaters Friday and on Apple TV Plus October 3rd. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damagella.
All right, well, traveling with your family always leads to unexpected surprises. Here's a dad who didn't double-check the booking for their ride to bring their family to the airport at 4 a.m.
Come on.
The whole sleepy squad ended up on a party bus.
Don't tell me this was an accident. I would absolutely book that bus. That's how you get people up and going.
Also, you can turn the music off if you wanted to.
It's 4 a.m. Let's get everyone excited.
You can do whatever you want with a party bus.
We come to work for 4 a.m. Maybe we should just book a party bus to bring us to work.
Oh, that'd be so awesome. That'd be so awesome.
Great idea.
Some jobs are dangerous more than others, but landscaping seems pretty safe, unless you're in Australia, of course. Poor George. He's the landscaper in Australia facing a major job hazard down under. It's a bird swooping in, trying to take his life.
Oh.
This is Hitchcock come to life.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, he's got a wheelbarrow on his head.
Oh, he just protects himself with the wheelbarrow.
Like a turtle. No problem.
Use your resources.
I don't know what it is the bird really loves, but it's not George. Oh, Jeremy, your turn.
Okay, let's talk about what it's like being the cutest girl in the room, because this puppy knows.
Oh.
Right? Brothers running around in the background trying to yank each other's shirts off. This pup just love it. She's the only girl in the whole litter, and all she wants is the pets.
I love this one right here. That's the one I'm stopping.
Yeah.
Not the one getting jerseyed, the one doing the jerseying. We're back after this. Welcome to Your Morning Saskatchewan. I'm Daryl Rummold.
I'm Kayleen Swatsky. We hope your day is off to a great start.
Hope you're enjoying our brand new look. It is modern, it is fresh, and it is much, much needed. So thank you for being along for the ride. We're having fun here. We got some fancy new mugs, too.
Yeah, and we're actually drinking out of them now. People always ask, do you drink out of them? Yes.
Usually they're science experiments. These ones are actually good. Speaking of experiments, let's get to news here. See if the transition works. Hey, it worked. There we go. Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe said he had a good meeting with the Prime Minister focused on tariffs and canola experts.
This is another step in finding our way through what is a pretty difficult time for a significant Canadian industry.
Earlier this month, Premier Moe met with the Chinese government agencies after they imposed a 76% tariff on Canadian canola seed. Officials believe the move is in response to Canada's 100% tariff on Chinese electric vehicles. Scott Moe says his meeting with the Prime Minister revolved around how Canada can restore market access to its two biggest trading partners, the U.S. and China. He says resolving the dispute will take careful dialogue with both Beijing and Washington. We now have a date for when the next federal budget will be tabled, and it is later than expected.
We're going to have to make tough choices. We're going to be asking from Canadians to work together with us because they understand this is a transformational moment. This is nothing like business as usual. There's nothing business as usual in the world economy.
The government had initially signaled that it would be introduced in October, but the Liberals have now set the date for November 4th, so circle your calendars. This will be Mark Carney's first federal budget as Prime Minister. He has said the deficit will be larger than last year because of new spending, tax cut commitments, and tariffs.
Mark Carney needs to keep his promise and reverse the massive spending increases that he has brought in that have caused the deficit to double without even introducing the budget.
The Liberals will need the support of at least one other party in the minority parliament to pass the budget. Chrystia Freeland has stepped down as Transport and International Trade Minister to take on the job of Special Envoy to Ukraine.
The work that Chrystia will lead on Ukraine will be deeply impactful, not just for the war, but for Canada's national security.
Source tells CTV News Freeland will work with Ukrainian leaders to rebuild the country's economy. The last time Freeland resigned, of course, from cabinet, it was a split from former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. This time, leaving on much better terms, saying she made the decision with tremendous gratitude and a little sadness. Freeland's cabinet role is now going to be split between Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc and House Leader Stephen McKinnon. The family of a woman shot and killed while riding in a car outside of Weyburn is urging those responsible to come forward.
There's a family that's suffering, that suffered a terrible loss. And that person needs to come forward to help give them closure and to understand how and why this happened.
Tanya Myers was 44. She died after being hit by a bullet on September 12th, riding in a passenger in the SUV just outside of Weyburn on Highway 39. Family is calling for whoever was responsible to immediately come forward. Investigators say they're working to identify several vehicles that were traveling through the area at the time of the shooting. Weyburn RCMP have also found an individual that was impersonating a police officer on Saturday. It happened around 10:30 at night on September 13th. The person was driving down a grid road near Mydale when a vehicle slowed up behind them with red and blue flashing lights. Both vehicles would slow down, but one took off, fled the scene. The driver of the truck posing as a police vehicle is a youth that cannot be named under the Youth Criminal Justice Act. Charges have not yet been laid. RCMP point out this is not related to the shooting on Highway 39. Jeremy Dodge tracking news from headlines from Saskatoon, including a criminal case. Jeremy, over to you.
Thank you very much, Daryl. The Crown, in this case, calling for a judge's decision to stay impaired driving charges in a Saskatoon girl's death to be overturned, which would send the case back to trial. Now, Taylor Kennedy, charged with impaired driving offenses in connection with the death of Bailey Maurice in September of 2021. Kennedy's case was stayed in December, a judge ruling Kennedy was not tried in a reasonable period of time. The Crown is appealing that decision, arguing case complexity and court backlogs were factors in the delay. Kennedy's lawyer says they remain confident the Court of Appeal will uphold the judge's initial decision. City officials and community members gathered at Saskatoon's City Hall this week to exchange plans and concerns regarding a new shelter. The 60-bed enhanced emergency shelter will be located on 31st Street East in Saskatoon's central industrial area. Neighborhood residents were invited to ask questions and give input on the facility. Among the comments and concerns, the facility's proximity to schools, potential for drug use, and concern that 60 beds might not be enough space.
So we want people to understand that there is a lot of thought going into this and that there is a lot of planning ahead of time to make sure that this can work as well as possible in our community. And we want to understand, are we missing anything? Is there anything more we can do?
No precise timeline for the completion of the facility yet. Anderson says the hope is to have it operational before the closure of Saskatoon's temporary shelter, which is set for next September. All right, Daryl, with harvest underway now, there's some new tech that's making things a little easier for producers.
That's right. As we know, it's always changing, right? To point, it can be hard to remember how things were done before. So that's going on during harvest, and one farm gave Wayne Manteca a look at how far combines have come over the past 6 or so decades.
Farmers invest millions of dollars in harvest equipment. However, the combine attracting the most attention in this formation goes back to the 1960s.
My dad used to own a combine just like this. He bought it in 1962. I remember him telling me that it was the same. The price was the same as the number, $9,200.
Larry Verhelst recently found a Massey Ferguson Super 92 at an auction. It brought back memories, so he picked it up for $1,500.
It had been stored in a steel building for the last 45 years. And it was the motor was totally seized. So
the restoration was a family affair.
Take the wheels off and a bunch of shields, and there was a lot of work to get this engine out. Me and their hired man and my nephews and brother. A couple days to get it out, a couple days to get it back in. So
after adding a bit of oil, it was ready to go.
In these spray cans, I put a half a jug of oil and just used it and sprayed it on all the bearings and just held it there for a while, and everything got lubricated and took all the noise out of it. It was pretty good.
Of course, the old combine is a lot smaller than the machines used today.
I could do maybe 50, 60 acres in a day. Now you can, with a new machine, you can do it in how long, Ross? 2-3 hours you can do 40, 60 acres.
It's like driving a classic convertible with the top down. The old combine isn't practical for today's farming, but the family says it has never seen their father happier. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, near Radville.
The Bank of Canada is widely expected to lower its key lending rate to 2.5% this morning. The latest data from Statistics Canada shows that inflation did edge up slightly in August, but the central bank is still expected to make that cut to its benchmark rate by a 0.25 percentage point as the economy has weakened in recent months as the impact of the tariff war becomes more apparent. The U.S. Federal Reserve is expected to reduce its key lending rate by a 0.25 point today as well. Futures pricing tracked by the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, FedWatch, suggests Wall Street traders are expecting 3 reductions this year and 2 more by June of next year. The rate cut today would be the first in the U.S. in 9 months. Fed Chair Jerome Powell reduced borrowing costs 3 times last year, but put further cuts on hold as the U.S. Central Bank evaluated the impact of President Trump's tariffs on the American economy. Inflation in the U.S. has remained elevated in part because Trump's tariffs have increased the cost of some goods. Year over year, prices rose almost 3% in August. Newborn babies will soon have an extra layer of defense for a life-threatening virus even before going home from the hospital. RSV is one of the most common reasons babies are hospitalized during the winter months, often causing bronchitis or pneumonia. The new initiative in the province ensures that all parents can protect their newborns from serious lung infections caused by RSV. Free of charge and with parental consent, a vaccine will be offered at 17 locations where babies are born in Saskatchewan starting October 1st and last into March. The head of Pediatrics for the province says it's an important step towards seeing fewer babies in hospital.
To have to come into hospital, be hospitalized for several days. Some of them have to go to the intensive care unit, have to be put on a ventilator. So it's had a huge impact, and it really spikes that certain time a year. So the fact that we now finally have an intervention that can make a difference is very exciting and very timely.
Dr. Klassen says with so many remote areas in Saskatchewan, the immunization will make a positive difference for pediatric health care. Grown-ups have smartwatches, babies have smart pacifiers.
All babies can suck well, whereas you can't really tell them to blow into a device.
Researchers at the University of Alabama have developed a pacifier equipped with microphones and sensors. It can detect information about a baby's lung development and breathing. Real-time info can help doctors treat possible breathing issues sooner. The puck drops on the Western Hockey League on Friday, and the Regina Pats are in the midst of a rebuild, as you know, but there's plenty of optimism around the rink these days with the, of course, addition of top picks Maddox Schultz and Liam Pugh. Yesterday, the team acquired Dace Durkach from the Prince Albert Raiders for a third-round pick. He is the son of GM Dale Durkach, who will be in studio with us on Friday. He played with Schultz as well for the Pat Canadians. The team's looking to get back in the playoffs now.
I think the moves were calculated to, start this rebuild last year in season, which is hard to do, but I credit all the guys that were here last year, whether they're back or have gone, and it wasn't an easy year. But saying that, the guys that are back, they lived it last year. They don't want to see that again. And, a year older as a group is a big thing in this league. It's cyclical.
Pats start on the road Friday in Swift Current. Smart pacifier. You had smart socks or something for Sadie, didn't you?
Yeah, so we use an Owlette sock, not so much anymore that she's older, but it monitors her heart rate, her oxygen levels, the things that they have for babies these days.
It is wild, wild, wild. But, do babies need to wear a big, bulky jacket today or what?
Well, if you're waking up in Regina with us, maybe just a light rain jacket today. That's what I'm sending my daughter to daycare in this morning. Regina likely getting just a little bit of light rain later on this afternoon. That does come with the risk of getting a very mild thunderstorm. I'll show you that on our weather tracker in just a moment, though. 13 degrees to wake us up in the Queen City. Some very calm winds just coming in at 9 kilometers per hour right now. We are waking up to some cloudy skies, though. And in Saskatoon, take a look at that fog. Visibility is reduced right now. 6 degrees to start our day there, though, and winds coming in at 11 kilometers per hour. But if you're heading out on those roads, just be careful out there to start your day. Now, we talked about that rain on the way on the Futurecast here. This is at about 12:15 p.m. this afternoon. You can see it's right around Regina, right around Yorkton. Some areas also through the north and central zones going to be getting it. Saskatoon not likely impacted by that rain falling this afternoon. As we head into the later afternoon hours, it really does just pop up right around that southeast corner down there. Estevan likely going to be getting that rain into the evening and overnight hours as well. And then tomorrow morning, it does circle right back around from the United States there and bring some more precipitation early tomorrow. Current temperatures now showing that the warm-up has started, but it's happening rather slowly. Spiritwood has only bumped up just 1 degree from the last time we checked in. That's sitting at 9 degrees right now. Hudson Bay still sitting at that 11-degree mark. Swift Current still sitting at that 8-degree mark. And Estevan sitting at 11 degrees to start the day. Now, as we take a look at this national forecast here, we're seeing some very warm temperatures in parts of Alberta today. So Edmonton likely reaching 27 degrees today. Cooler through Vancouver, reaching 22 degrees, Winnipeg reaching 20 degrees. And as we turn our attention out to the east, Halifax reaching 23 degrees today, St. John's up to 18 degrees, Montreal up to 26 with that mix of sun and cloud. Now in Regina, the 5-day forecast showing that the next few days we do have some periods in the afternoon where we are likely to be seeing just a little bit of rain. Temperatures dropping down to right around that seasonal average for Thursday and Friday, and then getting right back up into those 20-degree temperatures on the weekend, Saturday 22, Sunday 26 degrees with just a few more clouds that day. In Saskatoon, 22 degrees today is the high, 21 degrees tomorrow, 22 on Friday. So as you can see, not as much of that rain expected through the central zones. And then the weekend looking absolutely beautiful. 24 degrees on Saturday, Sunday up to 27. But Sunday is also the day that we could be seeing some rain start to fall late into the evening and overnight hours.
Ahead on Your Morning, what a new report is saying about Saskatchewan's rental prices. U.S. President Donald Trump arrives in the UK this morning, what to expect throughout the day. At about 7:40 on CTV Regina and Yorkton, you're going to find out more details about this year's India Night fundraiser. And on CTV Saskatoon and Prince Albert, you'll see Jeremy talking high school athletics with Scott Arrow. Let's take a live look outside the city streets in Saskatoon. We're back with Your Morning in 2 minutes.
To take a look at our rural forecast today. Outlook with a mix of sun and cloud up to 22 degrees. Wynyard could be seeing some of that very light precipitation this afternoon. 18 degrees will be the high as we turn our attention down towards the south. The southwest looking more dry today, and the southeast seeing more of that precipitation. Broadview up to 17 degrees. Carlisle up to 19 degrees, and Coronach up to 21 degrees. Now let's take a look at Lanigan, where internet plans up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel. A very nice high today of 20 degrees expected. Mainly sunny skies all afternoon long, and those winds coming in very gently, only gusting up to about 20 kilometers per hour this afternoon.
Hey, let's head back out on the go in Saskatoon. Mike Siona over at Willow Park Wines talking festivals. Mike, good morning.
Well, if you're like me, you've been talking to Tracy Gracious for years, and you've been looking at all of these pins, but you've never asked about them. And in fact, I didn't even ask about them. We were just talking in between segments, but these are not just bedazzlements.
No.
Tell us the story.
These are, I'm very proud of these. These are from the WSET educational program. So it's the Wine Spirit Education Trust. It's globally recognized, and it gives you the knowledge that you can to become a trusted expert here at Willow Park, or just if you're a wine enthusiast and want to know what's behind wines. For example, what is a Cabernet Sauvignon that everybody talks about? But going into also regions, wine regions, going into France, and like, why do they make really good rosé there, and how is that different from in Spain? Different things like that. And we give you samples. That's always a fun day to have sample day, so you're trying those grapes from different places. Also, we can do an exam, and that's when you write to get one of these.
And that can all be done right here, and in fact is being done right here. This is the box. Right. Looks like a test to me, an exam. So I get a little scared when I think the word exam, although as far as test goes, that's probably the most fun you could have, taking a test. This level 2 program, still time for people to sign up for the one coming here?
Yes, deadline is November 3rd. It involves 2 weekends, so the 15th and the 22nd, and everything is supplied in this book, and then we give you the samples here. Exam is written sometime later.
There you go. Just another bit of the learning that we all have here at Willow Park Wines and Spirits. Thanks very much for the information. You can get more details at willowparkwines.com.
Special treat for you this morning. In case you missed it, we want to introduce you to Australia's surfing grannies. This group of women set out, get together every week to catch some waves, no matter how cold the water is. Beside the physical benefit, the women all say friendship is the most important part of the group. Research suggests working out in groups can help seniors stick with exercise long term and prevent loneliness. Some of these ladies don't look like they could be grannies.
Yeah, no, I was going to say they are going to stay young forever if they keep doing this, you know?
Granny's got it going on. There you go.
I want some surfing buddies.
Yeah, well, I want to be able to surf. We're in Saskatchewan. Where would you surf?
Well, that's what I mean.
Landlocked province.
We'd have to have like Blair Farthing cutting laps with a boat so that we could get enough weight.
Yes.
Right?
I'm sure he'd do that for us.
He would. He's a giving soul. Question of the day is where we go to next. Moves the soundtrack to our surfing.
This one is such a fun question. We're asking you today because it is International Country Music Day. What is your favorite country music song? So many good ones on the board here. We have Fancy by Reba McEntire because that's actually one of my favorite ones, so I wanted to say that one. Anything by Shania Twain, I absolutely love as well. I Hope You Dance, that's one that every time it comes on the radio, I will never change the station with that one. We also had some more answers from Luke Combs, Backup Plan. We had The Conversation, Hank Jr., Waylon Jennings. Some more Waylon Jennings on the board. Heather saying Chattahoochee. That, you can't go to a Saskatchewan wedding without hearing that one.
Nelson Bird is yet to chime in with Friends in Low Places.
No, we don't have a Nelson Bird answer yet. My Maria, Brooks and Dunn. We have I Believe Love Can Build a Bridge, Something in Red from Karen S. And from Margie C, we had He Stopped Loving Her Today by George Jones.
That is arguably the greatest country song of all time.
Oh, is that yours?
If you ask most artists, they will tell you that that is one of the greatest songs of all time.
Okay, all right. Well, we have some great answers on the board so far, but we want to share some more. So you should text your name and your answer right now to 10400. Standard message rates may apply. You can also scan that QR code on your screen. We're going to share some more answers at 8:15.
Hello, everyone. Glenn Sheeler inside the TSN Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Tuesday. And for that, we're going over to Italy. Champions League action. Juventus taking on Dortmund. Kenan Yildiz lets one go from outside the penalty area, and it is beautiful. Perfectly put in the top corner. Nothing the keeper could do about that. This match was crazy. It finished 4-4 with Juventus scoring twice in added time to tie it, but it was Yildiz with your must-see moment from Tuesday. Tonight on TSN, WNBA playoffs doubleheader, starting with Game 2 between the Mercury and Liberty. Coverage begins 6 p.m. Central. That's all from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
Time for your morning mystery. It is a TV show. Clue number 1.
Oh, good.
First episode of this TV sitcom aired on NBC this week in 1985. Clue 2. The character Cheesecake was practically the fifth roommate on the show. The cast ate more than 100 of the sweet treat throughout 7 seasons.
Whoa.
Okay, so Cheesecake is a big part. When the show originally was pitched, the character of Sophia, I know it, was meant to be an occasional guest star. So write down your answers, got your smart boards. Don't look at mine. Get out of here.
I'm cheating here.
Get out of here.
I was born in the late 90s.
You were born in 1976. You should know this.
I was trying to cheat. Oh, it's the Golden Girls. I have seen parts of the Golden Girls.
Of course you know this.
Jeremy and I are batting 1,000.
Okay, I'm 1 for 3 morning mysteries.
But that's okay. We hope you're having fun playing along at home. The Golden Girls, Betty White was originally supposed to play Blanche. Rue McClellan was supposed to play the Minnesota farm girl Rose in the original casting. That is your morning mystery.
Studio consideration provided by Father's Furniture, specializing in quality Canadian-made furniture.
All right, it's time for a look at our school day forecast today. It's a little bit foggy to start our day in Saskatoon. Temperature is also a little bit low this morning. 6 degrees if you're getting on the bus right now. 13 in Regina. 19 degrees by lunch for both major cities today, but a chance of rain expected for Regina. 20 degrees for Regina at the final bell. Again, that chance of rain continuing on into the late afternoon. In Saskatoon, mainly sunny into the late afternoon. Some very calm winds this afternoon. 21 degrees by final bell, but that's not quite reaching the daytime high of 22 degrees. That's going to be reached at about 5 p.m. And as we go to break, here's a look at today's gas prices in Regina. The most common cost to fill up is $1.39.9. You can find regular fuel for as low as $1.16.9. And in Saskatoon, the most common cost to fill up, $1.35.9, but you might find the lowest at $1.27.9. Taking a look at farm markets, the street price of canola, $5.79.22 per ton, and the futures price, $6.35.30 per ton. Amber Durham wheat is $2.78.60 per ton this morning. Red spring wheat, $2.34.02 per ton. And the Canadian dollar begins the day trading at 72.74 cents U.S. Coming up in news, what a new report is saying about rental prices in Saskatchewan. Stay with us.
Saskatchewan, 7:30. Let's get your headlines. First Nations leaders are voicing their frustration after financial audit findings were leaked online last week. Indigenous Services Canada announced a forensic audit into the Federation of Sovereign Indigenous Nations last year. A leaked photo of its initial findings show questionable, ineligible, and unsupported transactions that date back to April 1st of 2019. That audit was performed by KPMG. It flagged $34 million of expenses, the largest which was $23 million for COVID relief funding. FSIN did not respond to CTV's request for a comment and refused to allow any questions about it at a news conference for a separate matter on Monday. But Chief Kelly Wolf wants the FSIN leadership to be held accountable.
We want to see accountability, we want to see transparency, and yet it falls on deaf ears. And we ask ourselves, has there ever been a financial scandal like this ever in Canada's history or Indigenous governance history?
Indigenous Services Canada says a summary of the audit findings will be posted to its website and available to the public by the end of the month. Saskatchewan's rental rate is increasing even as national prices go down, according to a report from rentals.ca. The report says Saskatchewan rental rates went up 4% compared to a 2.3% national decline. Reacting to the report, the NDP opposition called for rent control, saying that post-secondary students and seniors are taking the hardest hit.
What I want
want to make sure people understand is rent control does not mean that landlords can never increase rent, because I think that's the first misconception about rent control. What it does mean is that rent can be stabilized so that tenants aren't suddenly being told their rent's going up 12% this year or 30% this year, and they're not able to afford that.
In a statement to CTV News, the government of Saskatchewan says one of the most effective ways to deal with rising rent is to increase supply of rental housing through programs such as the Saskatchewan Secondary Suite Incentive. Adding rent control could cause housing shortages in their view and de-incentivize new builds. U.S. President Donald Trump kicking off a two-day state visit to the United Kingdom, being treated to a full display of royal pageantry. Members of the royal family, including King Charles III, greeted the President and First Lady at Windsor Castle. The United States launching a review of the current North America Free Trade Agreement, CUSMA, ahead of the mandated review of the agreement. The U.S. trade representatives will hold 45 days of public consultations, which are required under U.S. law. This is the first official step in renegotiating the trade deal that was signed during President Trump's first administration. The agreement has so far shielded Canada and Mexico from the full impact of Trump's tariffs. A new statue was unveiled at the RCMP Heritage Site Saturday afternoon that honors the four-legged officers. Damian Smith reports.
A celebration of man's best friend at the RCMP Heritage Center on Saturday. After years of work, an unveiling was held for the Hero by My Side statue, a permanent reminder of the contributions of police service dogs. Gary Carlson, a retired RCMP member, came up with the idea and found an artist in Alberta to create the sculpture.
Found an amazing artist who did the sculpture, Diane Anderson, out of Alberta, and a 3-year process of getting this done all the way down to getting it, picking it up just last week from the foundry outside of Calgary.
The RCMP has been using German Shepherds as service dogs since the 1930s. Police pioneer John Causey was one of the first RCMP dog handlers. He also kept these dogs at his home. His youngest son, Bruce, developed a depending bond with the breed.
I lived in Malta for a year and I lived in Singapore for a year, and that's the only time in my life I did not have a dog. I'm on my 9th and 10th German Shepherd right now in the last 70 years.
Almost 100 years later, even with access to the latest technology, these dogs still pose a very important trait, being able to pick up on scents. They've saved thousands of people in vulnerable positions. Just over in Kamloops a few nights prior, a young boy was found safe thanks to a police dog.
A young boy lost 11 o'clock at night. They couldn't find him. The dog was there very, very quickly, picked up the track and found him. So the question is, what would we have done without that?
Even though Bruce wasn't in the police force, he knows what it's like to have a hero by his side.
If you have not had a German Shepherd beside you, I can't explain it to you. It's a 4-month-old pup or a 12-year-old white-muzzled veteran. They've got your back. You've read this before, but they do literally love you more than they love themselves.
The statue now stands among other pillars of the forest, which is found along the Princess Royal Walk at the RCMP Heritage Center. Damian Smith, CTV News, Regina.
Perfect day to take your pooch for a stroll.
Yeah, it's a great day, especially if you're waking up in central Saskatchewan. We're not seeing as much of that rain today. Also down in the southwest, we're not going to be seeing that precipitation. Down in the southeast, that's where we are. Regina is likely going to be included in that this morning into the afternoon. I'll show you that in just a second here. But 13 degrees to wake us up in the Queen City. Not quite as bright as it was yesterday. We do have a little bit of fog this morning for both Regina and Saskatoon. 9 kilometer per hour winds rather in both cities, and sitting at 7 degrees in Saskatoon, again seeing that fog this morning. Now the futurecast showing that rain that's going to be impacting us today. It's right around Regina, as you can see, right around Yorkton as well, and then down through the areas even further down in the southeast, right around Estevan there. We do have a very small risk of getting a thunderstorm there. We're just seeing some very small patches of those reds and yellows, so be aware of that. Into the overnight and then into the morning hours tomorrow, we're still seeing it concentrating right around that southeast corner around Estevan. Now, we're also talking about the smoke forecast today. This is what we're looking at currently in the province. So as you can see, all those areas lit up in green and yellow. That's where we're seeing the most smoke. It's not quite enough to have the reason for any air quality statements or anything, and it's actually going to be reducing quite a bit as we turn into the afternoon. So not much to be concerned about with that smoke when it comes to later on today, just this morning. Current temperatures now showing Spiritwood just bumped up only slightly to 9 degrees. Nipawin, though, warmer at 15 degrees this hour. Assiniboia at 10 degrees. Yorkton waking up to that 12-degree temperature and 4 degrees, so cooler through Kindersley. Later on today, though, with that precipitation down in the southeast, 21 degrees for Estevan, 21 degrees for Weyburn. Just some cloud cover expected for Yorkton, reaching 18 degrees, so right on that seasonal average. Saskatoon reaching that high of 22 and Battleford's up to 22 degrees today. The rain could be continuing on into Thursday and Friday for us waking up in Regina just for parts of the afternoon, and a little bit more of that sunshine later in the afternoon on Friday. Saturday and Sunday, though, looking beautiful. A great weekend to get outside. 22 on Saturday, 26 on Sunday. And in Saskatoon, a whole lot more sunshine on the way for the next 5 days. 22 degrees today, 21 tomorrow, 22 on Friday, 24 on Saturday, and 27 on Sunday. Your morning just got a whole lot richer. We're giving away a staggering $20,000, and it's time for today's code word. Imagine what you could do with an extra 20 grand. The possibilities are endless. Today's code word is happy. Head to the contest page on our website or scan the QR code on your screen. Enter that code word along with your information for your chance to win CTV Your Morning Saskatchewan's $20,000 giveaway. Make sure to watch us tomorrow morning for a brand new code word. Good luck.
Wardrobe consideration by Colin O'Brien Man's Shop, defining contemporary style for over 20 years.
India Night returns to Regina on October 4th at the Delta downtown. That sold-out event is hosted by Cultural Connections, and Kristen White and Ronnie Bilku join us now to discuss what this fundraiser means for our community. Good morning and welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
Ronnie, I'm going to come over to you first. Let's just start by explaining what exactly is India Night.
India Night is basically a mix of our cultures in Regina that we have, and also in celebrating one of the charities in Regina. We select a charity which has a grassroots charity, and all the funds go to them. So in helping, you know, the vulnerable people in our city here. So
well, let's hear a little bit more about that. So Kristen, I'm going to come on over to you. Let's talk about the charity that was selected this year, what the money is going towards, and although it is a sold-out event, there also is a 50-50.
There is. So we are an organization called Creative Options Regina, or CORE for short, as we like to call it. So we're an organization located here in the city. We're a nonprofit who provide personalized support services to folks with disabilities. I always say we wear many hats. We do many things. We do everything from in-home support to employment support to programming, leisure and literacy opportunities for people. But for this particular event, we're really focusing the funds on those literacy and leisure programs. So these are programs that historically and unfortunately still today, folks with disabilities are oftentimes left out of. And we know that everything from sexual health to financial literacy to wellness to even just you know, art classes that can connect people and form friendships are very, very important. And so that money is going to be going towards those programs specifically that are solely, you know, based off grants and donations. So
a very worthy cause where the money is going to, and of course the night itself is a celebration of Indian culture, as you said, Ronnie. Why do you think that's so important to celebrate?
We don't only celebrate the Indian culture. This year we have the hoop dancers, as well as a Ukrainian dance troupe that's coming in to perform. So we try and feature a different culture every year for our Indian Night, as to, you know, to connect people to other different areas. And I think at this day and age, I think acceptance is a very big thing that everyone should work at getting it. And yeah, and then of course the great food, the Indian food is really good. Everyone's accepted that now. The Delta does a great job with the food, and we have an Indian fashion show, which is a big hit every year. So
and it's a big event. Unfortunately, it is sold out. But really quickly, how can they get tickets for next year?
They can just go to our Culture Connections Regina.ca, our website, and then get all the information at that time starting in January. So
Thank you both for joining us this morning. Again, that event is sold out, but you can still support it by grabbing your 50/50 tickets.
In other news this morning, the Royal Canadian Mint held a coin exchange in South Regina at the post office Tuesday. You're invited to trade cash for a new $2 commemorative coin celebrating the life and art of Daphne O'Dige.
We've taken one of her pieces and made it a colored piece onto our circulations coins. So what we've done is we're going to be issuing 3 million of these coins in circulation. 2 million of them will be colored and 1 million of them will be in a non-colored version.
Other commemorative coins were available as well. Your morning returns in 2 minutes.
Here's what's happening in our community. The Rummage and Bake Sale is on September 19th at 4 p.m. and September 20th at 9:30 a.m. It's being held at the Westminster United Church, and for more information, you can call 306-757-6444 or 306-533-0601. The Fall into Fall Craft and Trade Show is on Saturday, September 20th at 10:30 a.m. It's being held at the Broadway United Church. The Multiple Myeloma March is on Saturday, September 20th at 11 a.m. It's being held at Rochdale Park, and for more information, you can go to myelomamarch.ca. A tribute to Elvis is on Sunday, September 21st at 2 p.m. Advance tickets are $20 and $25 at the door. It's being held at Our Lady of Peace Church, and for tickets, you can call 306-543-2728. The medical fundraiser dinner and silent auction is on Thursday, September 25th at 6:30 p.m. Tickets are $30 each, and it's being held at the Serbian Club. For more information, you can call 306-541-4465. If you'd like your event shown here, you can email us at reginacommunity@bellmedia.ca with at least 2 weeks' notice.
And we have these milestones to share with you. We're starting off with a big happy birthday going out to Ever, turning 8 years old. This shout out coming with love from Mom, Dad, and Winter. Enjoy your special day. Also celebrating with his family today is Callum for his 2nd birthday. Happy birthday to you with lots of love from Baba and OG. And happy birthday wishes also going out to Bill today. We hope this birthday is a great one for you. This message coming with a whole lot of love from Brian, Jess, Emma, and Ben. Have a great day. If you have anything that you would like to celebrate, send us your milestones to Your Morning Saskatchewan at ctv.ca. Make sure you send those in 1 day in advance.
All right, Chase, what's going on in the radio world today?
Well, remember that picture that you shared yesterday of the big scary spider that I was dealing with at my place? Thanks to the magic of security cameras, my adventure of trying to get around it or rid of it all got captured on video. So I reluctantly shared that up on our Facebook page. You can go take a look. It just seems to be a thing right now. Big scary spiders, because even my parents were in town yesterday. Dad pulls out his phone and his spider trumped mine. Was probably double, triple the size of it. Just so I get a little heebie-jeebies going on this morning. And we got more money for the big money montage, and maybe hire an exterminator with it. $200 to play for coming up at 9 o'clock this morning.
Okay, send me the video. I need to play it. Thanks, Chase.
I will. Thanks, Daryl.
I want you to feel safe here. I do. Theodore.
Sydney Sweeney moves into a suspicious new home. The actress works for a wealthy family led by Amanda Seyfried in The Housemaid. The pair's picturesque lives unravel in the new thriller, which lands in theaters December 19th.
You know, it's nice having someone I can be totally open with, even if it means we remain perfect strangers.
Online love unites two rivals in Maintenance Required. This is your first look at the rom-com, which follows a pair of competitors in the automotive space. See sparks fly for the unlikely duo when the film premieres on Prime Video on October 8th.
It's not too late.
The movie The Lost Bus began with producer Jamie Lee Curtis. She says her devotion to making sure people remember the 2018 campfire goes beyond the film.
We are going to complete the memorial in the town of Paradise, which is called the Hope Plaza, which is going to memorialize the 85 lives that were lost, the tens of thousands of people whose lives were affected, and the first responders and all the everyday heroes.
The Lost Bus debuts in theaters Friday and on Apple TV Plus October 3rd. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damagella.
Temperatures still great for checking out some of the activities at our provincial parks. So let's take you live on location now with Janelle Lapai at Echo Valley. Good morning, Janelle.
All right, well, we have ventured out to one of the guided hiking trails here at Echo Valley Provincial Park. But before we get into that fun, we're going to talk a little bit more about some of those really fun fall activities that you guys have going on this season.
Yes, we're really excited to let everybody know that this weekend we have our Sask Park special event happening on Saturday. So it's going to be happening in our hole-in-wall day use area, and it is our fall hikes. It's an absolutely great activity for everyone in the family.
Fantastic. And what else do you guys have going on, too? Because the fun doesn't just stop there.
It doesn't. I mean, in the fall, you're able to come and utilize our sauna. We also have some new accommodations in the park, which we're going to see a little bit later that you're able to enjoy. We still have all of our boat docks in, so fishing is definitely an option. But definitely this weekend, we're really encouraging guests to venture out to fall hikes on Saturday. We've got our interpretive staff from other parts of the province coming to join us. One of the hikes that we're going to be featuring is a learning about the land hike, and that's why we've moved our teepee out here from our visitor center, and we're going to have a local elder who's going to be here sharing some of the knowledge of the area. It's going to be a magical experience.
It really sounds like it. And these hikes are very accessible. There's really something for everybody.
There is, yes. We definitely have hikes of different duration. Also, we have hikes that don't have as much elevation change. So, yeah, we just want to encourage everybody to come out. We're going to have activities for the kids. There's going to be some food down in Hole-in-Wall day use area. So, yeah, definitely load up the vehicle, bring your park pass, and come on out to Echo Valley on Saturday. It's going to be a great time.
Fantastic. Well, you're not going to want to miss it. Make sure you're coming out. It's supposed to be a beautiful day Saturday, too. So make sure you're outside enjoying that. We're going to be back one more time here this morning, and we get to check out those yurts. I am so excited. So we will be back soon, give you a little overview of what we have as an option for staying here over the fall.
Traveling with your family always leads to unexpected surprises. Okay, so here's the situation. You need to ride to the airport, and you call a bus, right? This dad got a party bus.
I mean,
Brilliant.
sure wakes you up.
Ready? This is the vibe you need, right?
This is a great dad move.
Right, Jeremy? This is the vibe. You would do this to your kids for sure.
They're playing this off as it was an accident. Nah, no chance.
Or like, this is the only one that was available, kids.
The party bus driver showing up at 4 a.m. was probably just like, oh my goodness, it never ends.
Who books us at 4 in the morning?
The party never stops.
The party never stops. It never stops here on CTV Your Morning Saskatchewan either. We're going to take a quick time out. We got your news and your headlines right after this. Thursday the 17th. Welcome to Your Morning Saskatchewan. I'm Daryl Rummel.
I'm Kayleen Sawatsky. We hope your day's off to a great start.
We're still trying to get that video in of Chase tiptoeing around that spider.
Yeah.
You saw something that big. You saw it. It was dinner plates.
I saw it on his Instagram story, and I said, leave your house. Leave.
Just burn the house, I guess, at that point. Yeah, well, we'll see if the temperatures improve here. We'll get to your news for this part of the hour. We begin with breaking news. This hour, the Bank of Canada has lowered its key interest rate to 2.5%. The rate cut was expected by financial market experts and many economists. The central bank held its benchmark rate at 2.75 for the last 3 consecutive decisions as it waited for more information on how the U.S. tariff dispute would affect the economy and inflation. Again, down to 2.5%. If you're in a variable mortgage this morning, you might be a little happy about that. Following a trade mission to China, Premier Scott Moe met with the Prime Minister in Ottawa Tuesday to discuss the ongoing trade dispute. Although Scott Moe says he's hopeful both countries can reach a solution, canola producers in Saskatchewan feel the government is not doing enough. Sierra D'Souza Butts with why.
It's a great pleasure, Premier, to have you here. It's been a pleasure working together over the last 6 months.
As Prime Minister Mark Carney welcomed Scott Moe to Ottawa for a debrief after his trip to China, the real-world impacts are being felt on farmers like Jeff Pizzi.
We'd lost over $1 a bushel just on the futures price alone. So that has definitely had a huge impact on canola price.
With China imposing a 76% tariff on Canadian canola seed, Moe met with China's Ministry of Commerce last week, along with other industry officials, in hope of finding a solution. However, with no timeline in mind, Pizzi says he is preparing for the trade dispute to carry over into the next crop year.
We're tightening up all kinds of expenditures. We're not taking on any more debt of any kind. We're not making any big purchases. And we won't be until we see some changes here.
After his visit, Moe says he is hopeful both countries can resolve the trade dispute, as China has extended its anti-dumping study results by 6 months.
The challenge of an industry like the canola industry. It's a $43 billion industry employing 200,000 Canadians. I don't know that we as Canadians can afford to backstop that entire industry. What we need is market access, and then there's no, support conversation that needs to happen. And so what I would hope is there are signals that are being sent.
One public policy expert says trade missions are fundamental to Canada's core economic strategy, helping to strengthen international trade relationships.
This is how you do international business these days. And they're so wrapped up in so many political dilemmas. The Chinese are unhappy with Canada on a number of fronts. They're equally unhappy with the United States. That creates problems and opportunities in almost equal measure.
Moe says working alongside the federal government is a new space for Saskatchewan, allowing the province to determine its own destiny within provincial borders, which will be critical for tackling ongoing trade disputes. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
We now know when the next federal budget will be tabled.
We're going to have to make tough choices. We're going to be asking from Canadians to work together with us because they understand this is a transformational moment. This is nothing like business as usual. There's nothing business as usual in the world economy.
The government had initially signaled it would be introduced in October, but now the Liberals say that date will be November 4th. This will be Carney's first federal budget as Prime Minister. He said the deficit will be larger because of spending, tax cut commitments, and tariffs.
Mark Carney needs to keep his promise and reverse the massive spending increases that he has brought in that have caused the deficit to double without even introducing the budget.
The Liberals will need support of at least one other party in the minority to pass the budget. Chrystia Freeland has stepped down as Transport International Trade Minister to take on the job of Special Envoy to Ukraine.
The work that Chrystia will lead on Ukraine will be deeply impactful, not just for the war, but for Canada's national security.
A source tells CTV News she will work with Ukrainian leaders to rebuild the country's economy. The last time she resigned, it was obviously a split from the Prime Minister at the time, Justin Trudeau, now leaving on better terms this morning. Freeland's cabinet roles will now be split by a pair of sitting cabinet ministers. Time now to throw things over to Jeremy Dodge with some Saskatoon headlines. Jeremy.
Thank you, Daryl. Yeah, the Crown is calling for a judge's decision to stay impaired driving charges in a Saskatoon girl's death to be overturned, and that would send the case back to trial. Taylor Kennedy charged with impaired driving offenses in connection with the death of Bailey Maurice in September of 2021. Kennedy's case was stayed in December, a judge ruling Kennedy was not tried in a reasonable period of time. The Crown is appealing that decision, arguing case complexity and court backlogs were factors in the delay. Kennedy's lawyer says they remain confident the Court of Appeal will uphold the judge's initial decision. City officials and community members gathered at Saskatoon City Hall this week to exchange plans and concerns regarding a new shelter. The 60-bed enhanced emergency shelter will be located on 31st Street East in Saskatoon's central industrial area. Neighborhood residents invited to ask questions and give input on the facility. Among the comments and concerns, the facility's proximity to schools, potential for drug use, and concern that 60 beds will not be enough.
So we want people to understand that there is a lot of thought going into this and that there is a lot of planning ahead of time to make sure that this can work as well as possible in our community. And we want to understand, are we missing anything? Is there anything more we can do?
While there's no precise timeline for the completion of the facility, Anderson says the hope is to have it operational before the closure of Saskatoon's temporary shelter set for next September. Daryl, an update over a shooting near the Weyburn area.
Yeah, Jeremy, we continue to follow this. The family of a woman shot and killed while riding in a car outside of Weyburn is urging those responsible to come forward.
There's a family that's suffering, that suffered a terrible loss. And that person needs to come forward to help give them closure and to understand how and why this happened.
Tanya Myers was 44 years old. She died after being hit by a bullet September 12th. She was a passenger in that SUV just outside of Weyburn on Highway 39. Her family now calling for anyone responsible to come forward. Investigators say they're working to identify several vehicles that were traveling through the area at the time. A Saskatchewan farmer has restored a vintage combine and has used it alongside modern machines during his harvest. It is a 1962 Massey Ferguson, which was purchased at auction for just $1,500. It required an engine replacement, but otherwise good working order. The Radville area farmer says it's the type of combine he used when he began farming.
It had been stored in a steel building for the last 45 years, and it was the motor was totally seized. So my son Ross and the hired man Lawrence and my other son Kyle and two grandsons Logan and Brandon, we changed the motor in it and got her going.
Miller says it takes all day to do the harvest 60 acres with a combine. He says modern machinery can do it in about 2 or 3 hours. We take you now to Yorkton to meet a hockey official set to work a first game, not focusing on the past, but instead the future.
Usually, the focus of a hockey game is the two teams. But on Thursday in Yorkton, the spotlight was on the referee.
Yeah, born and raised in Yorkton. This is where my officiating career began, was here in this rink and at the Kinsman down the road. So
a few years ago, he was hired by the Western Hockey League, the same league that brought him in for a preseason game in his hometown between the Prince Albert Raiders and Regina Pats.
And through that, I've had some opportunities to work Memorial Cup championships and different international tournaments, including U18 World Championships, the U20 World Juniors, and as well as the World Men's Championships.
His next stop is the 2026 Olympic Winter Games in Italy. Yorkton's hockey community taking a moment to celebrate Tarrington's success.
I'll be the only official on the male side from Saskatchewan. There are 3 other females from Saskatchewan that'll be representing Canada at the Olympics as well.
Young officials in Yorkton are looking forward to seeing one of their own, calling games on the world stage.
I used to play hockey, and then I want to take the next step because I just wanted to see the other side of things, and so I became a ref, and I've never looked back since.
And I'll try my best to do what I can, get up to what league I can, like he did, going through the Olympics. He's worked his way up there from hard work, so I'm going to try my best.
The Winter Olympics begin in early February. Regina Pats, CTV News, Yorkton.
Well, you always cheer for the refs. They never lose, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They might be wrong, but they never lose.
That's the trick to cheering on sports.
Go sports.
Yeah. All right. Well, I want to draw your attention to this board behind me here because we're talking about some visibility issues in a lot of areas across the province today. North Battleford waking up to visibility at 0.4 kilometers this morning. Saskatoon at 0.2, Kindersley at 0.2, Swift Current at 0.2, and Yorkton at 0.2. Visibility is pretty good in Regina, however, and you can see that on our morning view here. Just that little bit of fog still, but visibility out on the roads looking pretty good to start your day. 13 degrees in Regina to wake us up. Winds have been increasing ever so slightly, only coming in right now at 11 kilometers per hour. 8 degrees in Saskatoon, but again, you can see that 0.2 kilometers is that visibility right now. So make sure you're keeping your eyes on the road this morning. We're talking about all this green space down in the southeast this afternoon, of course, bringing some rain likely to areas around Regina, down through Estevan into those later afternoon and evening hours. And then right when we think it's going to be cleared from that southeast corner, it's actually going to be coming right back up from the United States, bringing some more rain tomorrow morning to that area around Estevan. Current temperatures now, Spiritwood just bumped up to 10 degrees. Hudson Bay now sitting at 12 degrees. Nipawin waking up to 15 degrees. Cooler through the southwest this morning. East End at 9 degrees and Swift Current at 7 degrees. As we take a look at those temperatures across the country, it's going to be 22 degrees in Vancouver with that sunshine today, 25 in Calgary, 27 in Edmonton, and 20 degrees in Winnipeg today. Toronto up to 22 with that mix of sun and cloud. Montreal, mix of sun and cloud as well, up to 26 degrees. And Halifax up to 23 degrees. Again, that nice mix of sun and cloud. Now in Regina, 20 degrees is the high today. Again, that likelihood of getting some of that rain in the afternoon, continuing on into periods of the afternoon tomorrow. It's not going to be falling all day long, but just for some periods. 18 degrees on Thursday and Friday. Could be seeing some more of that rain carrying us into Friday, but a little bit more sunshine than Thursday. Saturday and Sunday, we're expecting a whole lot of sunshine. 22 degrees on Saturday and 26 on Sunday. Sunday really is that day that it's going to still be feeling like summer, although we are entering autumn officially early next week. 22 degrees is the high for Saskatoon today, 21 tomorrow, 22 on Friday, 24 degrees on Saturday with that sunshine continuing on, and then just a few more clouds coming right back in for Sunday up to that 27-degree high.
Well, in case you missed it this morning, sometimes it's not about winning or losing. It's celebrating just competing.
I win the medal. I lost. I win. I lost. I lost.
Good job. High five.
Good job.
So what if we all celebrated wins and losses like these two, right? It's just having a good time.
Just a very subtle, I got a medal. I lost.
That's a dream for parents who don't have to deal with the crying from whoever lost the competition. It's just, hey, I won, yay, and I lost, yay.
Got a high five out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Lessons to be learned there.
Yeah.
Question of the day is where we go to next.
Yeah, so this one's a fun one. We're asking you today for International Country Music Day, what is your favorite country song of all time? We had Darby write in saying, my favorite country song is One More Day by Diamond Rio. Doris wrote in and said Mom by Garth Brooks. We had a few people saying Garth Brooks today, obviously. You can't ask about country music and not talk about Garth Brooks.
Best song of all time.
My Maria by Brooks and Dunn. If we remember Luke Samard, that was one of his favorites, so I'm thinking of him today.
Beyonce's name is Maria, ironically.
Yeah. Karen saying I Believe by Diamond Rio and Love Can Build a Bridge by the Judds and Something in the Red by Lori Morgan. We also had Margie C. on X saying He Stopped Loving Her Today by George Jones and That's What I Love About Sunday by Craig Morgan. And then we had a whole lot of answers from Michelle on X. Some of my favorites there, Fancy by Reba.
She could have just listed the song she didn't like. It would have taken us less time.
I I was surprised not to see as much Shania Twain on the big board today, but thank you, Michelle, for bringing her into the conversation. Of course, we had backup plan by Luke Combs, Bailey Zimmerman. Old school, it brings in the conversation by Hank Jr. and Waylon Jennings. And then Heather Bryant on X saying, my absolute favorite country song is Chattahoochee, which I just think you cannot escape a wedding without listening to Chattahoochee on that dance floor.
Well, of course, you go way down yonder.
Yeah.
We'll be back right after this.
A new tool to protect Saskatchewan's youngest residents from a serious respiratory virus will soon be available. At the start of October, all newborns in the province will be offered an RSV vaccine before leaving the hospital. Carla Shinkaruk has the details.
Her beautiful little face. Tara Johnson's daughter got respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, when she was a small child. She had really bad lungs when she was a baby. She had lots of pneumonias. I mean, like 11 pneumonias a year. Like, she was hospitalized chronically. Her daughter is now 15 and still battles effects of that childhood illness. With a new milestone RSV immunization starting in Saskatchewan in a few weeks, she wants parents to know how important it is. I wish that we had this available to us. It would have prevented us from going to the hospital once a month for 5 months, for 3 years, to get shots to protect her from RSV. For the first time beginning October 1st, every baby born in Saskatchewan will be eligible for an immunization designed to protect them from serious lung infections caused by RSV free of charge. The program will run into March, lasting during the months when RSV activity is at its peak.
So the fact that we're getting geared up to try to prevent this and have an impact is very exciting and very timely.
RSV is one of the most common reasons babies are hospitalized during the winter months, often causing bronchiolitis or pneumonia, filling pediatric wards with sick kids mostly under 2 years old.
Be hospitalized for several days. Some of them have to go to the intensive care unit, have to be put on a ventilator, so it's had a huge impact.
The antibody shot will be given at 17 birthing sites by nurses across the province with parents' consent. With so many remote areas here, Clausen sees this helping to lower the number of patients being transported to hospitals, saving the cost for that travel also.
It's much more complex and difficult to get them to a place where they get the care that they need. In our province, this can have a really important impact.
Other provinces like Ontario and Quebec have already implemented the program, with places like Australia and parts of Europe a few years ahead. Carla Shinkaruk, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Health Report, brought to you in part by Saskatchewan Blue Cross, protecting your health since 1946.
Today we're continuing to speak about Katie Milkman's book, How to Change, the science of getting from where you want to be to, or getting from where you are to where you want to be, rather. Judy Wright joins us once again for this. So Judy, can you please just recap where we left off last time?
Yeah, for sure. So one of the things about the book, it's evidence-based, it's been researched, it's more tailored individually rather than generalized. And then when we were looking at motivation last time, she mentioned like trying fresh starts, which kind of tricks the brain to kind of go, hey, I can kind of get over these humps. So maybe starting something on a Monday or after a special occasion or a promotion really helps us to get going with that motivation.
Now, the book talks about impulsivity a lot, and it mentions that that is actually a barrier to change. Why is that? And can you talk to us about impulsivity?
So, you know, we all kind of start out, you know, kind of gung-ho, we're ready to kind of change, and then that impulsivity kind of slips in. And so then we kind of maybe scroll on our phones or watching TV or looking out the window, but doing anything but what we're supposed to. And that's kind of present bias, which is part of impulsivity.
So you just mentioned present bias. What exactly is that?
Well, it has us really paying attention to the present moment and kind of ignoring the future. And so utilizing strategies like when we're wanting to accomplish something, we go, hey, I'm feeling kind of uncomfortable, so I'm going to kind of alleviate that versus kind of working towards what I want to do. And maybe, you know, then it kind of holds us up for the getting to where we want to be in the future. So, you know, we maybe would want to I don't know, I might buy a truck rather than saving money. or we might go out for suppers more rather than cooking. So present bias is really the impulse behind impulsivity.
What are some of those strategies that we could utilize in order to beat present bias and impulsivity?
Okay, so there's two. There's temptation bundling and gamification. So temptation bundling is where you take something really juicy that you like to do and you bundle it with something that you don't want to do. So maybe you save that really, really good audio book and you only listen to it when you want to work out. Or maybe you've got that Netflix series that you want to watch, but you only do it when you're maybe folding laundry or doing housework. So you're really bundling those two things together. There was a study done in Florida with students that were not getting their math assignments done. So they were told they could either doodle or they could listen to their favorite music, and it really improved that. And then gamification is really making a game out of when we're doing things that we're trying to accomplish, like maybe giving ourselves points or badges or competing on a leaderboard. So you'll find that in Duolingo. Wikipedia used it with their volunteers. When they started to acknowledge them, it increased their participation by 20%.
All right, some great advice on how to enforce some meaningful change in our life. Once again, this is Judy Wright from Gateways Counseling.
All right, let's head back out on the go in Saskatoon one last time and track down Mike Siona again. Good morning, Mike.
Well, one more time here this morning at Willow Park Wines and Spirits in Saskatoon. And, of course, there's locations here and in Regina, and truly a provincial affair with Tracy Gracious as we're talking about cooler temperatures, fall's arrival, and 3 different wines that you've selected that might play well this season.
That's right. As the nights are getting a bit chillier, more crisp, those that are loving the rosé, getting out of the rosé season, we could move into La Chouchou, which means...
Well, technically, I believe it means my cabbage, the cabbage in French, but it does a term of endearment if I think back to my French class, right?
Yes. So you can see by the color that it is a bit deeper, so just adding a bit of depth there for your rosé is also great with like your ham and your turkey.
Okay, cool. Now I'm thinking this white one would pair well with those as well.
Yes, Chardonnay on the cover, actually on the label on the front, it even says with roasted vegetables. So you've got that squash, you've got that zucchini that your neighbor gave you. Roast it with some pesto and have that as a pairing.
Very cool. And then, of course, as the seasons change, I think people naturally gravitate maybe a little more to the reds as well.
Exactly. So in a whiskey, aged in a whiskey barrel, is this from the Okanagan. It is a red blend, and it gives you just a little bit more of that little bit of spice. Great to have with barbecue or just sitting by the fire.
There you go. Well, fantastic. A couple of different wine options. Of course, we've talked all about the education stuff, the WSET Level 2 course, which is coming up in November. You have till November 3rd, by the way, to get registered for that. And while we're talking about whiskey barrels, you've got the Whiskey Festival coming up. Pop on down, grab yourself the Fall Events Guide, check out something, learn something at Willow Park Wines and Spirits, and, of course, the website willowparkwines.com. Tracy, thanks for the morning.
My pleasure.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. That's some great advice for fall tasting. We'll be back a little later on.
Saskatchewan, just about 8:30. Here are your headlines. The leader of a Saskatchewan First Nation is calling for accountability from an organization representing more than 70 First Nations across this province as questions linger about spending. Keenan Sorokon leads us off.
Too long ago. Muskeg Lake Cree Nation Chief Kelly Wolf wants answers as a forensic audit is asking the FSIN to explain more than $34 million in expenses.
It's definitely very frustrating, but yet not surprising.
A leaked photo of a forensic audit presentation given to FSIN leadership last week shows questionable, ineligible, and unsupported transactions dating back to April 1st of 2019. $3.7 million is noted as ineligible, doubtful, more than $30 million as questionable, and more than $155,000 as unsupported.
We want to see accountability, we want to see transparency, and yet it falls on deaf ears. And we ask ourselves, has there ever been a financial scandal like this ever in Canada's history or Indigenous governance history?
More than $23 million of COVID-19 funding is in question, and Wolf hopes there's a good explanation for money that First Nations needed sorely at the time. Another $8 million in administrative fees is under scrutiny, as is fleet vehicle and corporate travel spending. The audit ordered by Indigenous Services Canada is being finalized after first allowing the FSIN to supply added documentation in a June meeting. A summary of the results will be posted online by the end of the month, and if it's similar to what's already been revealed, then Wolf expects to see FSIN Chief Bobby Cameron's resignation.
We need to make an example out of these people who have done our people wrong.
The FSIN did not respond to CTV's request for a comment and refused to allow any questions about the audit at a news conference for a separate matter on Monday. Keenan Sorakan, CTV News, Saskatoon.
If you're a renter or you're looking for a place to rent, you understand how expensive it can be. As Angela Stewart tells us, the NDP in this province calling for rent control to be implemented.
Rent hikes are not just hitting the big cities. Prices are also rising in Canada's prairie provinces, including Saskatchewan.
What we have found from this latest report was that Saskatchewan rents on average are $1,461 a month, which is a 4% increase year over year.
A new report from rentals.ca says rent in Saskatchewan continues to rise.
Saskatchewan's been that last remaining hope where we've seen rental increases continuing to go higher and higher. Alberta rents are down 3%. Canada as a whole is down about 1%, but Saskatchewan is a 3% increase.
With the average rental price in Saskatchewan sitting around $1,400 per month for all unit types. The province is still the most affordable to rent in, but prices have risen over the last 3 years.
Rents right now in Saskatchewan are about 28.5% higher than they were 3 years ago, and about 25% higher than 2 years ago. So it just shows how quickly rents escalated, especially the prairie provinces.
Speaking to the media on Tuesday, the NDP says the province needs to implement rent control.
What it does mean is that rent can be stabilized so that tenants aren't suddenly being told their rent's going up 12% this year or 30% this year, and they're not able to afford that.
The NDP says it's seniors and post-secondary students who are struggling with rental hikes.
We had met with some seniors in Saskatoon who they're an elderly couple in their 70s, and they've both had to take on part-time work. They're working in fast food restaurants because on their pensions they can't afford their rent right now.
In a statement to CTV News, the government says a way of dealing with rising rent is to increase rental housing, adding rent control has caused housing shortages wherever it's been implemented and disincentives the building of new rental accommodations. It says it remains focused on increasing housing supply and maintaining affordability. Angela Stewart, CTV News, Regina.
A new hotel development is moving ahead in Prince Albert's growing Yard District. Jasmine Peltier on its impact.
Prince Albert City Council decided to move ahead with the development permit for a hotel in the Yard District south of the new leisure center.
You're able to bring on larger events. You're able to pull people in from more areas. That creates an economic spin-off for other businesses in town. As well, understandably, it will increase taxation revenue for the city.
The build will be located at 4284 7th Avenue East on the same site as the new discount liquor store, which is currently under construction by the same permit applicant. While the site was initially supposed to include 119 parking spaces, the city approved the permit with 100 spaces, deciding that it was time for the project to move forward.
You look at, well, what can we accommodate? What likely is going to happen with the flow of traffic and with the flow of parking? So it's a reasonably well-calculated decision that this is something we can accommodate.
The zoning bylaw allows parking space reductions if justified by a traffic and parking analysis. Bylaw updates in recent years increased the maximum building height for hotels in the zoning district up to 6 stories, which will be the height of the new build. The permit applicant also applied for the new commercial and multi-unit residential construction incentive program, which was approved by Council earlier this year, and offers a declining tax abatement over 4 years with full taxation by the 5th year.
They're quite anxious to get the project going as early as this fall. Completion timeline, we'll get more information on that as the project unfolds.
The city shared that comparable hotels in the area contribute approximately $270,000 annually in municipal taxes. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
After finishing next to last in the Eastern Conference last season, the Regina Pats are hoping a mix of young talent and some roster adjustments can help vault them into the playoffs. Here's Jacob Carr.
The Regina Pats went through plenty of roster turnover last season, leading to just 16 regulation wins in 68 games played. They're hoping this year is a different story, as some of the players acquired last season continue to gel with the unit and get acclimated to each other.
I think we're going to be a sleeper team this year. People won't really understand how good we've gotten over the past couple months of all of our summers, and I think we'll surprise a lot of teams and organizations.
Of course, it doesn't hurt to have 2 top 3 draft picks ready to suit up for the squad. Despite the birth certificates of rookies Maddox Schultz and Liam Pugh saying born in 2010, both are expected to make an immediate impact.
Without the face mask, you wouldn't know that they were 15. They play a pretty hard game. They play an honest game, and I think they both have been in the spotlight throughout their young career, and saying that for a 15-year-old is hard to say, but so I don't think the moment's too big for them.
And it isn't just the Pats coaching staff that marvels at the talent of the dynamic duo. Multi-year veterans in the WHL are already singing their praises.
Oh, they're unreal. I mean, seeing them on the ice and the plays they make, and their IQ is just great. They're always in the right spot, and I can find them and they can find me. They're fun to work with.
The Pats brass say that the infusion of young talent combined with veteran leadership has the team looking to make some noise this season.
A lot of those guys are back already, went through that last year. We're a little bit ahead of the game with some of our systems and that with the returning players. So short term would be to, start off really good and then, accumulate enough points throughout the year to get to the playoffs.
Regina starts their season with back-to-back road games against Swift Current and Medicine Hat before their home opener September 26th versus Prince Albert. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
Jacob, like the rest of us, very excited about hockey season to start, Kayleen.
Yeah, absolutely. More excited that autumn is on the way. For me, at least, I love autumn, but the temperatures looking very summer-like, especially as we look forward to the weekend. Right now, though, as you can see, we're seeing some visibility issues over in Saskatoon, currently sitting at about 0.2 kilometers for that visibility. Other areas in the province also experiencing some reduced visibility this morning includes Meadow Lake, down through Kindersley, and then down through that southwest corner around Swift Current, seeing some of that fog this morning. Regina looking not so bad to start the day. Looks very autumnal out there. 13 degrees is where we're currently sitting. Those northeast winds staying at that 11 kilometer per hour mark. 8 degrees right now with that fog in Saskatoon. Later on, once that fog does lift, you're in for a very pleasant day with that mix of sun and cloud and a very warm high of 22 degrees. Futurecast showing that we are going to be seeing some rain today. Some areas through the central zones just south of Prince Albert there. Saskatoon not likely to be seeing any of that drizzle falling, though. Down in the southeast, however, Regina, Yorkton, Estevan, all included in those areas, likely to be seeing some of that very light rain today. It does come with a risk of some very mild thunderstorms, but really not too much in terms of that actual amount of rain falling. The current temperatures now showing that Prince Albert is at 12 degrees. Nipawin has been staying consistent at that 15-degree mark this morning. East End just actually bumped down from 10 degrees to 9 degrees. Moose Jaw sitting at that 11-degree mark, and Estevan now up to 13 degrees. Later on this afternoon, we're seeing some very nice temperatures that are just above the seasonal average. Swift Current will be seeing that nice mix of sun and cloud up to 21 degrees. Regina, as we mentioned, with a little bit of rain this afternoon, up to 20 degrees. Estevan up to 21, and Yorkton just with that cloud cover up to 18 degrees. Now, tomorrow and Friday, we are going to be seeing that rain continuing on just for periods in the afternoon. A little bit more sunshine expected for Friday, but again, dropping down to 18 degrees and then getting warmer for the weekend. 22 degrees on Saturday and 26 on Sunday. Not as much rain expected for areas around Saskatoon. 22 degrees is the high today, 21 on Thursday, 22 on Friday, and then getting right back up to 24 degrees on Saturday. A lot of sunshine expected on that day and low wind speeds. And then on Sunday, a few more clouds making their way back into the area. 27 degrees is the high, though. That is well above the seasonal average, and winds could be increasing up to about 21 kilometers per hour. Now, your morning just got a whole lot richer. We're giving away a staggering $20,000, and it's time for today's code word. Imagine what you could do with an extra 20 grand. The possibilities are endless. Today's code word is happy. Head to the contest page on our website or scan the QR code on your screen. Enter that code word along with your information for your chance to win CTV Your Morning Saskatchewan's $20,000 giveaway. Make sure to follow us. Watch us tomorrow for a brand new code word. Good luck.
The Regina Rams and Saskatchewan Huskies have faced each other 47 times in history, and we found rare footage of the very first game between the provincial rivals. The Rams and Huskies locked horns for the very first time on September 11th, 1999 in Saskatoon. On that day, the Rams got off to a good start when quarterback Mike Wong found Jason Claremont for a nice 20-yard gain. Then Neil Hughes on an 8-yard run would get Regina on the board first with a touchdown. The Rams would add a field goal after recovering the ball on a turnover after the Huskies mishandled a punt. It was 11-0 for the Rams before the defending Vanier Cup champions would turn it on. Doug Rosen would turn on the Jets during a 70-yard run to get the Huskies on the board. Then the Huskies' defense would tighten up. Mike Beasley would have 2 interceptions on the day for Saskatchewan, including this one late in the first quarter. After that, the Huskies would capitalize, adding a touchdown, and from then on, the rout was on. At one point, the Huskies would put up 35 unanswered points on the board and ended up beating the Rams 56-12. It started what would become one of the best rivalries in college football, as a Rams and Huskies matchup would always be circled on the football calendar in our province each year.
And if you want to check out more classic sports moments from the days of Wilco and Wood Finish televisions, you can check them out on our website.
Diabetes Canada's clothing collection is turning 40, and you're invited to celebrate and help give back. Taylor Kay is here to share how you can donate and make a difference right here in Saskatchewan. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you so much for your time this morning. It really is amazing that Diabetes Canada's clothing collection is already turning 40 years old. We hear it all started back in 1985. Can you take us back a bit?
Yeah, I mean, they don't look a day over 25, we say, but it started back in 1985 in the West Coast in Vancouver and made it right across Canada. And they did household pickup. So back when everyone had landlines and you get a call to saying, put your clothing and in small bags outside on your porch. Now, since 1999, they've got donation bins placed right across the country, right in Saskatchewan as well. 3,500 bins right across the country. That's what they have. And they've collected and helped divert just over 3 billion. That's with a B, pounds of clothing and small household items. And they've diverted that from landfills, which is incredible.
All right, well, that's quite the history there. For people who want to donate, what kinds of items are most helpful, and what are your tips on when to know when it's time to donate a clothing item or a household item?
Yes, when it's time to let go, you sing that Let It Go song like from Frozen. But here are 5 tips that we follow in our house. I've got 3 girls, they're teenagers. So, I'll set a timer, we'll play some music, and we ask questions like, do you love it? Are you wearing it? How often are you wearing it? Does it fit? Maybe is it too loose? Is it too tight? Is it an outdated trend, or is it uncomfortable? Then it's time to give it a new home. And what Diabetes Canada is looking for, they're looking for textiles, sheets, curtains, clothing, of course, clothing that can be reworn. If it's torn or anything, you can put it in a rag bag. Also, small household appliances. Like in my house, we love waffle makers. I don't know, for some reason during the holidays, everyone gives me different waffle makers, those mini ones that can do happy faces, the Grinch, whatever. So now I'm going to let it go, and I'm going to give some of my waffle makers away.
Some truly fantastic advice there that I could make use of in my own closet. Looking ahead to September 20th, though, what can people expect, and how does showing up help support diabetes research?
Well, you know, it's going to be this weekend on the 20th from 9 to 2, and we're going to be in Saskatoon at the No Frills at 1018 Taylor Street East. And the staff from the staff and volunteers will be there. There'll be a big Diabetes Canada truck, and the team will gently remove your items from your car. You just pull up just like a drive-through, pop your trunk, and make that happen. They'll remove all the items. And your donations have contributed to over $200 million to fund diabetes research and help send over 30,000 kids to camp. And, you know, there's all different locations right across the country, and here in Saskatchewan as well, there's different bins that you can also drop off to. We would love to see you in Saskatoon, but we know we've got the whole province, so check out declutterfordiabetes.ca for a location near you, and can't wait to see you this Saturday.
Absolutely. We'll see you on Saturday. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Once more, let's head out live on location to Janelle Pai, who is wrapping up her morning at Echo Valley Provincial Park.
Okay, well, it is the time of the morning that we've all been looking forward to. It's your time, so let's go check it out. Let's go see the beauty that lies behind this door. Follow me. Got it. Oh, hi, Shelly. What are the chances of this? All right, well, I'll get this door closed. Let's talk about this, because this is gorgeous. So what does this offer for people who want to stop in?
Yeah, so welcome. So this is our newest accommodation that we have at Echo Valley Provincial Park. It's actually run by a private business, so Earth to Sky Glamping Domes is what we're currently in. They opened August of this year, and they are amazing. They are set up for year-round use, so they'll be a 4-season dome. They're a fully contained unit. They've got beautiful kitchens. They've got a wonderful bathroom, 2 very elaborate queen-size bed setups, and yeah, truly, they are magical.
Yeah, this is a ton of space filled with great stuff. What are you guys hoping to see this bring in? You know, lots of people over, because it is 4 seasons, so lots of people, you know, throughout even the fall and the winter.
Yes, like what we're hoping for the park is this is just going to, you know, offer something that those that aren't really into the yurts, because they certainly in the wintertime, we only have our pit toilets as an option for washrooms. So these domes are truly, you know, a luxurious add to the park that we're hoping is going to bring guests from all over the province to this area to visit them.
Absolutely. All right. And if somebody is maybe wanting to check this out, even have one for themselves, how can they go about that?
Yes, so they'll have to go onto our lessee's website. It's campearthtosky.ca, and he's got all of his availability on there. And yeah, definitely it's something worth checking out.
Yeah, 100% it is. This is gorgeous. I personally want to come stay in one of these. I would never leave. Shelly, this is fantastic. Thank you so much for having us out here this morning. We had so much fun with you, as always.
It was great, and looking forward to having you guys back soon.
All right, well, that wraps things up for us down at Echo Valley Provincial Park.
Greetings, everyone. What originally began with a phone call about some possible artifacts is now a museum celebrating history and culture. Cody First Nation recently opened a new space showcasing items going back hundreds of years, once used in the early years of the nation's history. Regina Pats has the details.
On Friday, Cody First Nation opened its new museum, located inside the Chief Gabriel Cody Education Complex.
You know, it's very humble, knowing that a lot of our artifacts that represent our culture have returned home.
Corey Cadot is the man behind the museum. He says the story began with a phone call.
A lady that used to live around here back in the early 1900s, she's 86 now, but she called me and she had some old artifacts.
In his excitement, he wrote a couple of articles to the local paper that caught the attention of future donors, such as the Western Development Museum.
It just, once one thing happened, all the other things started happening, and as you look around you today, it just all came together just like that.
The museum showcases tools and garments, but his most cherished artifact is a stone hammer.
Just like I have a special connection to it because it is made over 500 years ago, and one of my ancestors made it and used it and lived and survived with it. So it's pretty cool.
Chief Cody hopes that the museum will bring people together.
This kind of gives us an opportunity to build partnerships with not only our nation, but other nations and even the towns and the cities, is that we can share our history and knowledge with one another so that we can understand one another.
Cadot already has plans for some interactive expansion.
Where that you're just going to be able to push a button and one of our language speakers and our elders are going to be telling the stories in our language about what you're looking at and what you're seeing.
This is yet another step Cody First Nation is taking to reclaim their culture and their language. The rest, as they say, is history. Regina Pats, CTV News, Cody First Nation.
If you have a story you would like to see in this segment, here's how to reach us. You can contact me by email, and you can also watch past episodes and segments of Indigenous Circle on our CTV Regina and CTV Saskatoon websites.
Indigenous Circle is brought to you in part by Saskatchewan Indigenous Enterprise Foundation, growing the First Nation entrepreneurial spirit.
Not too late.
The movie The Lost Bus began with producer Jamie Lee Curtis. She says her devotion to making sure people remember the 2018 campfire goes beyond the film.
We are going to complete the memorial in the town of Paradise, which is called the Hope Plaza, which is going to memorialize the 85 lives that were lost, the tens of thousands of people whose lives were affected, and the first responders and all the everyday heroes.
The Lost Bus debuts in theaters Friday and on Apple TV Plus October 3rd. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damagella.
There's something special in the bond between a father and his little girl.
Yeah, one father and daughter in the UK are going viral for just being themselves. ABC's Danny New has their story.
Hello, my lovelies. How are you all today? Say hi, Jimmy boy.
Hi, Jimmy boy.
A father and daughter in Scotland, charming hearts around the world with their daily routines.
We've sort of always had a close bond, eh?
Yeah.
11-year-old Carly and her father, Ryan, have picked up millions of views as they, for example, make dinner together.
He would never have crispy onions on his baked potato.
Also their bedtime ritual, where Dad brushes Carly's hair to the best of his ability.
Say, like, Mum's done my hair now. Dad hasn't done it. Apologies about my hair, by the way.
You look like you've been dragged through a bush.
Well, no matter who does her hair, their many followers don't seem to mind. One commenter writing, I understand 30% of what they're saying, but I love it.
We try to slow our speaking down a wee bit to help people understand us a little bit better.
Nah, I say just do it your way.
Hi, my lovelies. I'm doing a wee bit on how I do my makeup.
For the record, Carly's catchphrases like hello, my lovelies, and Jimmy Boy first started when she began making her own little sketch videos in the 2020 lockdown. As you may have noticed, her dad's name is Ryan, not Jimmy Boy. But that just kind of came organically one day from this character.
You look all so grown up.
But as you can tell from this clip of Ryan laughing through tears when seeing Carly dressed up for her school dance, they are not always being silly. This moment even got the attention of Khloe Kardashian, who commented, what an incredible relationship, heart, 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 heart.
Say hi, Jimmy boy.
Hi, Jimmy boy.
And even though Carly says sometimes it can be confusing to be recognized on the street or at school, here is why she enjoys making these videos with her father.
My dad's my best friend, and that's why, like, we can make someone's day happy. That makes me happy.
Danny New, ABC News, New York.
I love her already.
What a special bond.
I love her already.
I'm going to steal her opening every day. Wow. I'm going to come in. I'm going to say, hi, my lovely.
Can we start making videos, too? Should we
do that?
Should we start a TikTok account?
Should we go viral?
Except I'll be like grumpy all the time.
I'd like and subscribe.
Yeah, see? He's in.
All right, we
got
have one subscriber.
If you could reach just one.
Yeah.
Turns out Canadian musicians are coming together this fall to celebrate the music and the person, Neil Young. icon is turning 80 in November, and more than a dozen artists are paying tribute to him at Massey Hall. Serena Ryder, Dallas Green, Jim Cuddy, Donovan Woods among the headliners. Organizers say the set list will span his entire catalog, which dates back to 1969. So this might be an 8-hour show. Proceeds will go to the music education charity Music Counts. Neil Young has been invited, but it's not clear whether or not he will go. He probably won't, because that's his style. Tickets go on sale go on Friday for the November 12th show.
Oh, fun.
Awesome.
He's so rock and roll, Jeremy. He just wouldn't show. You know.
It's true. That's what he does.
Didn't he
just makes great, iconic music and then lets everyone enjoy it without him.
I think he no-showed to like his Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction or something something of great stature. He's just like, no.
He doesn't need the recognition.
I'm good. He's a rock star, a real rock star. Thanks for being with us here on Your Morning Saskatchewan. We got all your news and weather to start your day tomorrow morning. For now, we're going to go take some naps.